Dark Satellite Media.
Check 1 2 check.
Check.
But yeah, hey, welcome to Red River number 64. I think so. It doesn't really matter.
Every show you like look over at me and I still no.
You know, I figure at least, you know, like someone writes it down, but I guess it doesn't really matter.
One day.
But yeah, so we're hanging here. We're going to talk some pop culture. Today we have our guest who is unfortunately not the first Filipino we've ever had. He's the second. You know, Chris Enriquez beat you.
Yeah. Hey.
You know.
Shout out to Chris.
You're in good company, though. So welcome, Joe, from Outburst.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Chris is actually a Long Island kid, right?
Yeah.
Also?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I knew of his bands, but then he did an interview, like a quarantine interview with our guitar player, Mike DeJean.
Yes.
And so it's like I propped him up on the social media thing, like, hey, thanks for having him on. And then we started talking. And so I gave him a follow because I didn't really know he was on social media.
Who,
so,
Chris?
Chris, yeah.
Oh, he's all over.
Yeah, now I know he is.
It's like Zuckerberg and him.
Yeah, he's got the Revolver angle and the St. Vitus angle on his own page. But he just did an HR interview yesterday.
I saw that. Yeah, I didn't get to listen yet. But
oh, yeah, it's amazing.
He's taken his time while we're all kind of like just sitting around.
Yeah.
And he started doing that. You know, and I love the title, obviously, Playoff Age of Quarrel, Age of Quarantine. Yeah. It's got to be hard, too. Like, being face-to-face is great. I like it. Yeah. I miss it. You know, we're getting back to it.
The timing you get, I don't know, when you're face-to-face with people, you know what I mean? When you're having a normal conversation, sometimes the phone's okay, too. The Zoom thing is tough sometimes with the digital, lags and stuff.
You're talking to someone who did a Zoom that bit me in the ass.
You finally got R.A.
I finally got R.A. the Rugged Man, and he was in Germany where he lives.
Oh, that's where he lives?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, the funny thing is he visited home like a week or two after. I'm thinking, like, why would I just... You know? So we're doing a Zoom, and I'm like, okay, I didn't really want to do a Zoom, but his manager was like, do a Zoom. And my Wi-Fi cut out like 45 minutes into it.
It's tough.
On top of the fact that it's just like that delay, and we're like staring at each other, and he's like, I think I heard what you said. And
do I go now? Is it?
Yeah, it just breaks up the rhythm, man, like so bad. But so man, thank you, Joe, for coming to hang out with us. You know, a lot of people, you know, are familiar with the band Outburst. That's where you played drums. Could you explain kind of like the history of the band? Like I know you guys had like a very short history, and then somewhere along the way you guys got some reunion shows. So just give us like a rundown.
It's weird. There's the brief. Well, I wouldn't say brief. It was like 3 or 4 years that we came up in that second wave of the New York hardcore scene,
which is like 10 years in hardcore years.
It is. So the contemporaries of the mid 80s to like maybe 91, 92, where it started to evolve.
Like Burn.
Yeah, I'd say like Burn, when Underdog turned it into Another, and Walter took Gorilla Biscuits and turned it into Quicksand, or did his own thing.
Yeah.
That was sort of like where we kind of exited stage left. But when, you know, the Raw Deal was, Killing Time was still Raw Deal. You know, all the straight edge bands, Youth of Today, Gorilla Biscuits, Side by Side, Judge, you know, Rest in Pieces, Sick of It All, Breakdown. I'm sure I'm going to forget a whole bunch of these guys, but they're
not listening.
All our contemporaries, yeah. But for those who might be into the scene who will be like, oh, he forgot this band. I'm sorry. Sick of It All. Rest in Pieces. That I might have mentioned that already. But yeah, that group, that gaggle, we kind of nestled in with them and rode that wave until, you know, till Underdog turned into Another, and Burn, and Shelter, right? Quicksand. That's when we were like, oh, peace out. But then, through the magic of the internet and like file sharing and like just pop culture, like mocking things that are like awesomely awful, which is our record cover, There was like an appreciation.
Explain that the record cover, because I know we had this discussion where it's like you guys took a picture. It was over like by the water, right? Like,
Yeah, up here in Brooklyn. BJ Pappas, shout out to BJ.
And the influence that other bands.
Yeah, she had this idea of just like maybe not conveying an image, but just be yourself. But in that idea, she had us just pose like in several different poses, and she chose the one pose that it gets mocked mercilessly on the internet, which is kind of cool because people attribute it to looking like a boy band. Like I think if you see some K-pop album covers today, it's sort of like, or even One Direction style. It's like, I could see where we're trying hard not to try hard, but we look like we're trying anyway.
Yeah.
So that gets mocked and homaged on the internet by all these hardcore bands from the 2000s and 2010s and even today.
Sincerest form of flattery, though.
Exactly.
Right?
And then for the music, we actually had a resurgence of like younger bands like covering us. You go on YouTube or someone slips you a note like, hey, this band's covering you on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, like The Hard Way's been covered like a bunch of times. Most recently, like before the resurgence, like Death Threat covered us.
Power Trip.
Yeah, Power Trip. So that turns into like this whole tribute. I hate saying tribute album, but it's a compilation of covers that Blackout Records, shout out to Bill Wilson, put together with all the new bands of like today, each picking an Outburst song and recording it for this compilation.
That's a trip.
It's totally a trip.
Like that's a real fucking trip. Like
that's
when
awesome.
You think about like a band that maybe you remember as like being kids and you put out these songs, everyone went and did their thing afterwards, and like years later, like all that shit resonated.
Yeah, that's
like when did you find out exactly that was bubbling?
I want to say in 2015 when Power Trip was, I mean they'd been around for a couple of years, but they came to Brooklyn on tour, and they were still playing like small bars and stuff. They were getting their name out there, and I think Riley posted something about them covering the intro, which is like a 1 and 2 second song, instrumental, and they would play it over and over again. They also played a breakdown song, which Mike DeJean wrote, Jail of Depression, and they put that in their sets. And the legend grew that they'd play the Outburst intro like 5-6 times in a row. And so this is already adding to like the bands from like maybe the 2010s who were covering our stuff. Like Southern California seems to resonate a lot with the Outburst, like, like I hate saying tribute, like the influence, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a bunch of, I started working like Bill Wilson calls me the glad hander because I was trying to reach out to these bands. Like, would you be interested in doing a compilation? It'd be kind of cool.
Right.
That this one band that had 1 7-inch and a couple of compilation songs in the same era where like Gorilla Biscuits and Sick of It All and Killing Time were on major labels or Revelation. And here's this little, not little, but Little Ven turned into this band that is appreciated today. So resulting result is the compilation is called Hot Shit Attitude. It's based off of a No Choice lyric.
It's up on Spotify.
It's on Spotify, yeah, and it's got, let me see if I can reel it top of my head. Power Trip, Fury, Outskirts,
Manowar.
Oh, I'd love to talk about Manowar.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I wasn't sure they were on
Manowar later.
Yeah.
Crime Watch, Wild Side, Misery, and there's you can look on Spotify. There's a roster of 11 bands. Yeah, and they all pick an Outburst song. Wild Side picked a couple, which is pretty cool, and they did their best renditions of it, and voila, covers compilation.
And then, like somewhere along the way too, like you guys did some reunion shows, right?
Yeah,
and but like
2017, we started playing out again, and that was pretty cool. Like we played with Killing Time a bunch of times.
Were you guys
That's
still
your whole lineup back together for those?
Original lineup members would be me, George the guitarist, Brian the vocalist, and Mike our bassist. Mike DeJean's been filling in. Well, he's joined on second guitar because our original guitarist Jay was just like
He was your roadie for a while, right?
He was.
And Mike's in a band with Q, Unique, which we had on the show.
Yes.
Obviously
Bounty.
Crown of Thorns. Yeah, King's Bounty, exactly. So yeah, Mike's awesome.
But the cool thing about that is Mike DeJean was our pal from the block before there were any bands. We were all just Leeway followers, who lived on our block too. So for that to kind of like that Astoria, Queens part of us that he just wound up being in the band for this current lineup, I think that's pretty cool also. So
Yeah, that area had a lot of really cool bands. Like you said, Leeway for sure. Like, what was like the influence of like Born to Expire over there for you guys?
It's funny because if you're going to talk Leeway for a couple of seconds,
yeah,
we remember those of us, the real ones, as they say on the block, who remember the demo, which was a 4-piece. It was AJ, Eddie, Jose, and Sasa, who lived up the block from us, and AJ lived down the block from us. It was a demo of those songs from, I think, 1985. So we heard those songs evolve and change and get new parts, and parts got taken out as AJ was writing other songs. So, like, to this day, I could still play some of that stuff on a kit, like, off the top of my head, because it's so ingrained in my mind. But when Born to Expire, the finished product, came out, they had added Zowie and Mike Gibbons on second guitar or lead guitar. And who's the bassist? Zowie from Circus of Power. So they were like really musically accomplished by that point. Whereas we remember them starting as a basement 4-piece.
Yeah.
Who would cover Paranoid by Black Sabbath or Whiplash by Metallica. And then they turned into this, like, now we're on Prohal Records. We got posters. We got ads in magazines. It's kind of cool to see your friends turn into that kind of thing.
Yeah, especially that, and that record, just the influence that record had on a lot of bands that were metal, but also like a total crossover thing for sure.
I never heard the demo though, but
you can find it on YouTube.
A lot of the hardcore, you find that too. I mean, the demos sometimes, like more than any other genre, like the Cro-Mags demos, Life of Agony's demo before they came. Like
VOD.
Yeah.
The VOD stuff.
They're more legendary than the
because
records,
what it is like I feel like that music is just not meant to be produced.
It's raw.
I feel it like it's meant to be raw.
Yeah.
So I remember when VOD, released those demos, for someone like me that wasn't really even into hardcore, like I heard Take Them Out and 730, like those songs were just crazy. And then when they did that Roadrunner release, like
they got a major label.
Yes.
Yeah, it sounded like it was just different, and I think I don't know, it's just different, like you just take that rawness out of it, and for better or for worse, I'm sure some people heard that.
It's one of the few genres that if I have the choice of the demo or the first album and the same song, I'll pick the demo version. Yeah. And other genres, like, I don't have that relationship with. I like the polished one.
Well, when you're making a record, man, it's just you have these songs, and sometimes the song that you start with is not the song you end up with.
That's exactly right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there are times where I'm just like, you're chasing, this song and the melody, then you had a harmony here, and then you had this little lead part here, and you listen to it, and for better or worse, like sometimes you're just like, I don't know, it's not the same.
Is that your Playing Dead experience? Like, that's what you find out?
Yeah, man. So sometimes I don't sit there and listen to our songs unless it's the songs that we're working on. Those are the ones that I listen to the most. But every now and then, like today, I listened to, I was driving to Queens, fucking sitting in traffic forever. And I listened to one of our records from 2017, which I had a bad feeling, like a sour taste, because our guitar player left. But I listened to it, I'm like, aside from like a couple of things that you would change, which I think that's always going to happen when you listen back. It's like, oh, maybe I should have went up here instead of down. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I'm someone who needs to be kicked out of the studio. So what,
the perfection, the quest for perfection sometimes it could be a time waster. Because you're like, man, I had this, but then I wanted, what would it sound like if I did it this way?
Yeah, man.
And you've got 6 different takes of something,
Yeah. So that's when you need that one person, like usually, like, so the guy that we record with usually, my friend Keith, he's like one of my best friends. He is definitely someone who will step in and be like, it's done. It's over. Or you can't sing today.
Well,
or
you gave birth to it, so you have that attachment to it.
It is, it's your baby.
It's always like how you hear it versus, like your average listener might, like, that little thing doesn't sound like nobody's hearing that.
No one's listening to it like that. Right. And that's fucked up. Like when I hear Walk Among Us, which sounds like a piece of shit.
It's perfect.
You know, but to me, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, did you hear this? Like, I turned into a Martian, and they're probably like, I don't know. They're probably like thinking, like, you like this fucking hunk of shit? Like, but to me, I'm like, yeah, for the last 30 years, I've been loving it, you know, but it's just, you listen to it differently for sure. And so when Outburst finished up, which was what year?
We were all said and done probably in like late 1990.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for someone like you, because I know you play drums, but also keyboards, and I know you play keyboards because you sent me the solo to one in about 15 different parts.
You played that for me.
I played it for him.
That's amazing.
I drove my wife crazy, so shout out to my
God.
wife. Shout out to my wife for putting up with that one Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, Joe sent me like 10 Instagram clips at a time.
That was thorough. You had like every
I hit
piece and change. Yeah.
Like every solo in one, I hit play to, and I'm just like, this fucking guy, he's not going to do this part. And then I hit play, and he does that part. I'm like, all right, but he's not going to do the breakdown. And sure enough, he sends the breakdown.
That was hard. Even did the drum part, the staccato part. Well, I'm a failed piano player. I think I told you that in the first podcast. I mean, I can't. Sheet music looks to me like raisins on loose leaf. Like it's always been that way. But my ear is pretty good for figuring out, you know, this sounds like it's in the key of E. Let me try it. You know, a lot of trial and error. And like I can still play jump. I think I said this before. Like I can still play the jump Eddie Van Halen solo part because I did it so many times as a kid when I knew how to read sheet music. But once I figured that I didn't need it, I just needed my ear. Yeah. I can still do stuff like that. So
I took piano for 3 years. I can play Home Sweet Home and Mr. Crowley. That's it.
Mr. Crowley's amazing.
If I walk by a piano, I could still play them, but I forgot everything else.
When I walk by a
great
piano,
instrument to learn music with, though.
When I walk by a piano, it's always Home Sweet Home.
Yeah,
it's always like it's fucking great. Like I love that fucking part, and it's arguably the worst Motley Crue record of all time. But it just that song. Like what else?
I loved that record when it came out, of course.
Did you?
But
I didn't.
As like as I got older, I'm like, wow, there's not a lot of good shit.
It's not.
I was like, what is that? 85. 85.
Theater of Pain.
Yeah.
Theater of Pain.
I was in like 6th grade, so like they could do no wrong for me.
They could do no wrong.
But then as an adult, I'm like, wow, there's a lot of shit.
Yeah, a lot of throwaway music. Yeah. I thought Dr. Feelgood was much, much better.
They get the Elvis cover on there, right? Or no?
No,
that's
Smoking in the Boys' Room.
Station.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
They covered Jailhouse Rock on Girls, 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 I think.
Yes.
Which is as bad as covering like Anarchy in the UK.
That's usually when they're like, okay, we need a record and we have no more songs. Yeah. And
it was live too, I think.
And they're doing coke and we don't know what to do. So
we have to fill this.
We have to fill. Yeah. How about Jailhouse Rock? Can you guys do that one?
Everyone knows that one.
I think Mick played on the original.
On
Jailhouse Rock.
Yeah, when he was in his mid-30s, for sure.
On the Outburst 7-inch, there is actually a 11-second song called SGI, and it's me just fooling around on a keyboard, shamelessly ripping off Terrence Trent D'Arby's "Wishing Well" riff.
Oh, dun 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 dun.
And nobody's really confronted me on that, so I'm like,
yeah, it's over now.
I have to give it
Exclusive.
up. That's totally what I ripped off, because we were sitting around just mixing stuff, and I'm like, and Bob Vandermark and Legend Studios had a keyboard in the studio, so I was just like, I'll mess around with this, and then Bob was like, why don't you record that?
Oh, is that the one in Setauket?
Yes, he's Setauket, New York.
Man, imagine that all the way out east.
And back then to us,
that ain't all the way.
Oh no, it isn't. I mean he's from Mattituck, so
okay.
That's kind of like
another land.
That's considered North Shore, North Fork.
Yeah.
Shout out to Nofo Doco.
Boom.
There's a place called Bayview Farms on the way to Mattituck that we passed by.
Yeah.
That's totally not hardcore at all, but
it's out there.
It's a nice place, yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not hardcore at all. I mean, not like Terrence Trent D'Arby.
No, not at all.
Hey, we did have Trip Face.
But you kept, that's true. But you kept playing keyboards. You must have, because all the stuff you send me is like, I mean, I remember mentioning a Bad English song, and this motherfucker sends me like "When I See You Smile."
I recorded that, so my idea was
that's ridiculous. That was the most random shit.
On my Instagram, I have a synthesizer that my wife bought me for Christmas, like in I don't know 2006.
She regret it?
Well, that day I was playing Metallica all day. She probably did. But I figured out, since I got the ear, and now with YouTube, you can find out what key songs are in it and just noodle it. So I started out doing like a video every like Sunday morning. I started out with like the Commodore's Easy. And I was like, why don't I call it Easy like Piano Morning? And I tried to do a clip back then when it was 15 seconds. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So I could do like little 15-second clips. Then they gave me a minute, and so my world expanded to like, like, have you seen my Lionel Richie Hello solo? That's pretty.
Nice.
No.
Yeah, because you can do all different sounds on the synthesizer. So
How did you get, like, because Brian and I are the same way. We like wide nets of music. So where did that come from for you?
which the piano?
No, I mean just like just your taste in music is
like
so like wide.
All, diverse. Yeah.
There was a point in time, maybe high school, where and everyone knows about clicks, right? And musical tastes kind of go involved hand in hand with that, like alongside, like there's a heavy metal crowd, there's a punk rock crowd.
We covered that in the Dazed and Confused episode.
Oh, so see, I definitely gotta watch it. But in my high school, there were cliques like that. Even on my block, there were the metal kids, the guys in Leeway. They didn't just like metal. They liked also punk rock too. Then our friends from around the corner liked hip hop. They would bring the cassettes, like that you'd buy of Run DMC and LL Cool J. So I think in the mid '80s, there's a great melting pot for music, and the guard kind of dropped on like, there's no shame in my game, right? Like, so I like the Beastie Boys. Well, Beastie Boys put Slayer on their No Sleep Till Brooklyn. So if you like Slayer, you should listen to this. And then your mind's kind of, it's like the peanut butter and chocolate, like the Reese's Pieces commercial.
Right.
So the more experimentation and the more mixing in that period of time.
License to Ill was a big one that everybody had, no matter what you were into.
Yeah.
It never hit me.
License to Ill? What?
Yeah.
How's that possible?
I don't know. I didn't really fuck with them till Paul's Boutique, but it wasn't really till Check Your Head.
Okay.
When Pass the Mic came out, like I was 14 and I was getting into skateboarding and that video, and I was like, whoa.
And the Bad Brain sample.
Yeah, I'm like, this is like the band that did Fight for Your Right. I'm like, it just blew my mind. Then from there, like I heard, then we went back. I really paid attention to Paul's Boutique at that time then.
There's some crazy stuff on that record.
Those are, and it's always the same thing. Like out of those two records, what's your favorite?
Paul's Boutique versus Check Your Head?
Yeah. It changes every year for me.
That's like a coin flip for me.
Yeah.
Today I'll say Paul's Boutique.
Okay.
Man.
It's just those samples were the best, man.
Totally.
I'd probably say Paul's Boutique, but you could ask me in an hour, and it could be different. Because the Check Your Head was a huge record for me too when it came out.
So What You Want, like it's just like the drums, like it was just so perfect.
Not even just the music too, like their
visual,
their clothes,
that
they were rocking, that thrift store wear and stuff.
Well,
they were like trend setting.
We would go to their store, so whenever like me and my friends would go into the city,
Yellow Rat Bastard.
Well, Yellow Rat, I love that place.
That's a great store.
I didn't know that were they part owners of that?
Mike D, I think, was his.
Oh, interesting. But he also had
the magazine Grand Royal came out then.
Damn, I forgot the name of their store, but it was like it might have been Grand Royal, just like the label or like Dust something. I don't know, but they had their own store. Yellow Rat Bastard. It's funny too because I would go to Yellow Rat Bastard and buy serial killer shirts because it was the only time that I remember back then that had like movie stills on T-shirts.
Right. So
it was like Reservoir Dogs, like Pulp Fiction, and like to like pop culture junkies. Like I'm like, I need that. Like there was one I remember that had like the porn star Gentile at the time. She was like a big Vivid girl. So, shout out to her. Yeah, that's exactly. And like you wouldn't know, but if you know, and you buy
Gentile.
It. Yeah.
What a clever name.
I know.
Just as a side note to that Gentile reference, Jules Jordan is a big New York hardcore fan.
He is, I know.
And it's amazing.
Yeah.
He's, he was at our shows in the 90s. He sends me pictures of like when he was at the club.
He's like friends with Gore, nonfiction, and like he's old. Like I always see him in like the like the Madball comments and shit. Like he's a Philly
legit.
guy, so
totally legit. Yeah. So he would go down to the Wilkes-Barre shows in Pennsylvania, and he got pictures of us playing this small like club with a half pipe in the back, and years later, he just reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, I got these pictures." I'm like, "You're Jules Jordan, dude."
Yeah.
But I'm like, "Oh, no, all right, cool."
Like what kind of pictures?
Yeah.
No, sadly, it's just of us playing music.
Yeah, it's cool stage. You got any of those penetration pictures? But yeah, so that's cool. So you just kept playing. I know you still play drums. In this quarantine, you were also doing some drum videos too, right? So like you're constantly still pretty musical.
It's the thing where like you got to keep moving. Back in the beginning of the quarantine, it's like remember how they had all these new things like post the stupidest picture of you. You know, all these little trends.
I missed that one.
Oh yeah, I participated in that one too. But since I played music anyway, I just with iPhone, and my daughter has like a mic stand for her, her music classes. So I'm like, I think the thing you do was the first one, and I think you chimed in like, I love that song, right? Because it was found in some Wayne.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did the little Foo Fighters.
Yes, the Foo Fighter thing.
I think I did Justin Timberlake.
You did. Every time when you mention them, now I remember.
Yeah,
them.
Bruno Mars. But that takes motivation though. And now that the longer the quarantine drags on, you're like, maybe it's just easier to do a piano video instead.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you kids into music?
My daughter's a self-taught ukulele player.
Wow.
So I have this thing where, kind of mockingly, I love playing Panic at the Disco.
Mm-hmm.
I chimed in with.
Oh yeah. That's the only song I know.
Right. What's the name of that song?
I don't know.
I don't even know the name of the song. Isn't that sick?
No, but I know it. When you said that name, that's the song that popped in my head.
I write tragedies,
so
not sins.
Okay. Yeah.
So my daughter, she took her phone and figured it out on YouTube, and then she comes into my room and she's like, "Oh look," and she played it and she sang it.
Wow.
So we still have to duet on that eventually.
Nice.
That's awesome.
That's great. Yeah.
My son tried piano and guitar. My son was cool down to do anything. So he tried piano and guitar, and then I guess he realized like, I'd much rather play video games.
Yeah.
So, but at least he gave it a shot.
I feel you, man. My
Right?
kid's the same way. My son. Yeah. I had him at School of Rock and everything. It just didn't take. But
Yeah.
if he gets homeschooled next year, we'll see what happens. If the school's open, he's going back to music lessons.
You're gonna teach him like
I'm
the
forcing him.
Sam Dunn headbanger journey. Yeah, just sit him down like
Music
be like,
appreciation.
this is grindcore.
101. Yeah.
You know?
We're going to start with Gregorian chants and we're going to build to where we're at right now. He's going to hate it.
Before we get to our list, there's also another thing that you do on Facebook, which I thought was interesting. I wanted to know the origin of, what do you call it? Like a summer flashback or something?
Yeah, just 20-year flashback. I've been doing it since 2010, so I've been at it for like 10 years. But when I saw how Sam's a big pop culture person, after we did our first podcast, I'm like, I think you had said this, like, why didn't we meet like decades ago? Because our minds work the same way.
Yeah.
Very compartmentalizing into years. And like today is we're in 2020, right? So I'm doing the songs of 2000. And since 1990, I was doing, since 2010, I was doing the songs of 1990, 2011, the songs of 1991. But it's just from Memorial Day to Labor Day, just a summer thing.
Yeah.
And I tag all the friends who like say, "Hey, keep doing it. Don't stop. This is great. It takes me back memories." And
it is. It's cool. Like today you did Blaze of Glory.
Yes.
Which was fucking like, you remember that? Like New Jersey came out and that was huge, and I guess they toured on it forever. So John's like, all right, I'm gonna go do this soundtrack to the Young Guns.
Young Guns 2. It was Young Guns 2.
Was
actually.
it?
Yeah, because first Young Guns was 88.
Okay.
Oh, wow. I always thought it was the first one.
Yeah, me too. I guess it just melted in there. Shout out to Emilio Estevez anyway. But also, and then Richie Sambora made Stranger in This Town, which I thought was a really good solo record. Ballad of Youth on there.
Never heard that one.
Oh, really? There's some really cool songs.
I wasn't a big Bon Jovi fan, though.
No.
I wouldn't have known. Yeah.
You don't like Living in Sin? None of that shit?
I used to, nah, I just couldn't get into them.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was.
You hated blowjobs, I guess?
I was a youngin', man. I just wasn't having it.
Yeah.
You didn't have a fight in the backseat of the car with your prom date?
They just...
All right, yeah, I just wanted to know the origin of it because you added me to it, and I was just like, because the caption, there's always like a caption to it. So where does the caption come from?
Well, so it's a reminiscing thing, and I'll go all the way back to like, let's start with 1990, right? I was big on MTV because our block just got cable in '89, so I was watching a lot of MTV.
Double Dare.
Shout out to Daisy Fuentes, my favorite.
Yes,
DJ.
me too.
Chaucito, baby.
Yeah. She married Richard Marx.
Unbelievable. I love them both now.
Yeah.
And Richard Marx is like a hero on Twitter. Do you see
he is.
He is nuts on Twitter.
He's pretty good. Yeah.
What, like funny?
Yeah, he's a funny dude.
He just goes at people, and he's
Richard Marx.
Richard Marx.
Wow.
Yeah.
I always say tweeting against him is now a hazard.
It is. yeah. He's bringing that smoke.
But I just loved MTV back in the day. 1990 was probably the year I would go to school. I was in college back then, and I would take a VCR tape, 6 hours, right? The length.
Me too. Yep.
Pop it in when I left, and come back when I come from school. I got like 6 hours worth, which would always include Daisy Shift.
Yeah.
And I think Adam Curry was in there.
Yeah. Who else is on there?
Back then?
I'm trying to think. Karen Duffy was later because she was like my other favorite.
Fun.
She was my favorite.
Oh my god!
But I love Daisy. Daisy, like she went on to do House of Style.
Yes.
But Daisy Fuentes for me, like she's like what I would normally like if I was looking for a girlfriend, like she, all the boxes are checked there. Like as far as like physical appearance, very good looking girl. Yeah, right. Fuentes, but Adam Curry was I don't want to say he was the shit, but he was like
the primetime guy.
He was the guy.
Yeah, he did.
And then he invented podcasting.
He invented podcasting.
Yeah, I know.
The Podfather.
he did
shout
Dial
out to Dan
MTV.
Cortez.
Yeah, shout out to
Sporting Fool.
Yeah,
remember that dumb shit they used to he had the MTV Sports, but they'd have the Rock and Jock softball game.
Yes.
They would have like random television celebrities and a couple of musicians and playing who?
Steve Vai played the national anthem on the guitar. But it was always like these because at that time it was like all like the hair metal dudes that were not very athletic and they threw the way they looked. Which is, definitely
like you would throw with your left hand.
Yeah,
if
like
you were right-handed.
like a handful of makeup. And except for like Dave Mustaine, he looked.
There's a couple athletes there. Dave used to play baseball. Flea would come out. Flea had some chops.
Yeah.
Flea could play basketball.
Good basketball.
Too.
Yeah, they had a basketball game.
Well,
too.
later on they did that. It was the Bricklayers versus the
Rock and Jock B-Ball Jam.
Yeah, right. That's what it was called.
John Sally. I forgot who else was on there, but man, we were kids of MTV for sure.
Exactly. So I would say look at these people. They get to sit in front of a camera and tell you what videos are going to be played. Yeah. And then every now and then they'll have little news segments like Kurt Loder, Tabitha Soren.
Yes,
right?
that was another one.
And so I always thought that was kind of cool. I didn't audition for the radio station at St. John's, which I should have, but it was like a radius of 3 blocks on campus, like AM dial. But I always thought sharing music that way was kind of cool.
Sure.
And if you didn't like it, don't listen. Or if you did like it, maybe thank me for hey, you've turned me on to this song. Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of music sharing with a little bit of tidbits of trivia. So that's how I started with the Facebook thing, because you could post a video and you can put a little small paragraph about where it went, how it started, the top peak chart on Billboard.
You know what kills me? People that post videos without a caption. It just murders myself. I just look at her, even if anyone who posts anything without a caption.
I do it all the time.
It's one of those things that's it's like somebody posted something that was this was just completely left field. Somebody called out Bill Gates for being a pedophile, something insane, but there was no caption. And I hit play on the video and I'm thinking is this your way of backpedaling? If anyone brings it up, it's I don't know. I just put it. It's
right.
If you have no caption.
Sometimes I just don't know what to add to it.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't notice.
If it's a short little video, it speaks for itself.
No, for sure. But I'm talking about
one.
What he does with the video.
Yes.
I just always have something to say if I'm going to post a video.
Right.
Whatever. Today I posted the commercial for Demons.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the 1985. I guess Dario Argento made a commercial, and they were promoting the soundtrack, which was super metal.
Great soundtrack, yeah.
But it's this long paragraph because I'm thinking it was a movie that that I haven't seen. Yeah, there it is. A movie that I've seen a few times. Yeah, we're looking at the footage.
Yeah, so I added Sam this year because when I saw him for the first time for the If I Ruled the World podcast,
right.
I was like, this guy is kind of like, our minds are the same. Like we talk about like this kind of stuff. So
shit no one cares about.
Yeah.
I feel you.
We're big into minutia.
But musically, like, like it just takes you back. Even if you hated this song, you might remember like, oh, this girl I was in love with liked that song.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you're reminiscing. And
he did add me to a Creed thread, though. I was a little...
Yeah, and you said, no.
Well, I'll pump the brakes. Yeah.
No, I think I added the Marlin song. Right?
Yes, the
Scott's
the ball game.
Sword,
yeah, Scott's stat.
What was it called?
Sword.
Marlins are gonna win or something like that. It was terrible.
1 strike, 2 strike, like 3. Like it was just so insane.
That guy is just the punchline, man.
But that Tremonti guy, great guitar player.
Yeah, wrote some good riffs.
Yeah, really. Like if you hear the riffs on even that higher song, really cool. It's just Scott's voice is but he says I play the hits.
Yeah, that's all. I'm not saying that I loved it,
right?
But it was one of the songs I remember being on the radio.
Time capsule.
Exactly. Yeah,
I get it.
I'm what you would call like a professional reminiscer.
Yeah.
Right. I just love the past.
I like that.
So
do you watch the Goldbergs?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know it's in syndication now. Is it still first run? Or did it go? Did they retire it?
No, it's still going. It's still going. But like I caught it on reruns because I didn't know. Like my friends like Parker would talk about it,
right?
And like it was just in one ear and out the other. And one day I watched one episode and I'm like,
80s references everywhere.
I'm like, this is the greatest show that has ever been written ever. Like everything about it was just. It's like 22 minutes of like you said, a professional romanticizer, reminiscer. Yeah, that's my. It's just everything about it. Like it's today we're going to talk about RoboCop or fucking like it's just insane. Like everything, like it's like you take a straw out and 2 lines of nostalgia coming right up. So, but yeah, so today we're going to talk some lists. I figure we the world is in need of love. So today, these 2 lists, we have power ballads.
Yes.
We picked a specific year a piece. I picked 87. Langan, you picked
89.
89, and you picked 90.
1990. Yeah.
Okay, and then after that, we have our favorite hip hop love songs.
Yes.
So yeah, we took a love detour here.
We're giving the world what it needs.
I also think that this combination is. I was on the way over here. I was thinking about like how
terrible?
you were gonna.
Yes.
No, it's like a black and white
sense.
Cookie, because you've got this podcast is the cookie, and the black side is the hip hop.
Yes.
And the white side would be the power ballads.
Easy.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. We just got canceled.
I mean, vanilla and chocolate.
We just got thrown. Just lost our sponsors of black and white cookies from Entenmann.
There goes Viagra.
Yeah. But so power ballads. What do you think is a power ballad?
So my conceptually, power ballad to me is like it's got that you got to check the boxes of it's got to be about love, right? But it doesn't have to be. But it most of the time it is. It's got to be slow and kind of brooding or plotting. If you go above a certain like beats per minute, you're like that's too up tempo to be like. If you can snap your fingers to it, I don't think it's a ballad.
Agreed.
What's the difference between? Because I was trying to think of this as I was picking these songs. What do you think the difference between a ballad and a power ballad is?
Distortion in a power chord guitar, like something that rings out.
All right, so we're on the same page.
It's got the dynamic difference. It's got a soft part. It's got a part where it rocks.
For me, like with 1987, because like RoboCop's been on cable nonstop, and I was like, I was just stuck on 87. I was thinking of Hysteria and RoboCop. Those were the 2 things I was thinking that maybe choose that year.
Monster album,
Monster album. But some people don't remember it that way. Like, so I was 9, and that was probably the first cassette I bought. I bought Tone Loked After Dark, from a Genovese when they sold cassettes.
Genovese drugs.
And Hysteria. And I guess as I got older, I get it. So On Through the Night, which was the first record, High and Dry, and then Pyromania. Those first three records came out, and then the next one is Hysteria. Like, I get why the older audience is like, I don't know what this is.
You're looking at me. Well, Pyromania is the first, because I got Pyromania and Fair Warning were my first like
Van Halen,
cool
Fair Warning?
cassettes. Yeah,
He's a big
that I
Van Halen
ever
fan.
got for Christmas.
Wait, sorry. Are you a big Van Halen guy for real?
Roth era.
Yeah. Well, my
Yes.
daughter, I named my wife and I named our daughter Halen.
Oh, that's awesome!
Seriously.
Wow,
Top
I love
that.
it. I love it.
What's your son's name?
Aiden.
Oh, I thought close enough.
Yeah, no, I'm a huge Van Halen. I love Dave and I love Eddie.
You don't mess with Sammy though.
Nah.
Can you tolerate anything?
I'm starting to get over it. I'm 47 years old now. I'm starting to get over the fact that it's probably impossible to be in a band with David Lee Roth. But there's some. I had 5150 when it came out, and I just didn't
Just
like
to
it
see
as
what
much.
it was about.
I had to see it, and I still Eddie's
It's
the
just-
reason I
it's
picked
different.
the guitar up. So I always loved. He's my favorite guitar player.
Do you
so
think
I had to
like
hear it.
do you think
But
like solo David Lee Roth is better than that?
I think Eat 'Em and Smile is better than 5150.
Yeah.
It just that everything that made Van Halen that swagger and shit that Roth brought
That
with
it
rock-
kept going on with Eat 'Em and Smile. I would
Yeah,
say. Even Skyscraper a little.
that's like the seventh Van Halen album to me. But I get, listen, they did well, obviously, with 5150, but it was a different direction, and I just wasn't feeling it.
I think "Why Can't This Be Love" is the best Van Halen song ever written.
Christ.
Is that sincere? Or
Stop.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of my house.
See,
Fuck
so
outta here.
you
That
asked
song
me.
is so good.
You asked me.
Unchained, all that shit. Come
That's
on.
great too. I mean, if
Mean
you ask,
Streets.
I always answer it this way to anyone who asks me which I prefer. I say I love it like I love both of my kids. I love them equally.
Right.
I don't fuck with the Sharon stuff though. That's like a redheaded stepchild.
I like that one single.
Nobody likes that.
I like that one single, like "Without You," I think it's called.
Oh yeah, that's all right. I mean, you know,
I thought it was pretty good.
I'm just glad to see they didn't quit.
They supposedly made I was watching on YouTube. There's some kid that has like these 7-minute backstories of rock stuff. I wish I remember the name of it, but I didn't know we were going to be talking about.
Oh, I think I'm
Yeah.
on that.
And there's a Van Halen.
because there was like a Skid Row one. There's a few of them.
It's
Yeah,
got
yeah.
like a red
Yeah.
background or whatever, but Sharon or whatever, that they recorded another record and never released it.
Thank goodness.
But of course, they say it's like that should have been the record instead of Van Halen 3. We released the wrong thing. Of course, do we know that? Nobody's ever heard it.
I
supposedly,
think it's tough, man. I think you get away with it once, and those guys trying to get away with it a second time is
Yeah, I agree.
No one could do that.
Yeah.
You know, like Iron Maiden did it once, AC/DC did it once, Sabbath. Yeah, they did it once, and I think that was all they got away with. They kept trying though.
But the Dio Sabbath is really good. Though.
No, yeah,
I
for
thought it was
sure.
really
I think Ozzy and Dio are the ones that most people like. Other than that, like who
Well,
else?
there was a million guys.
Yeah, there was a
that.
million guys after, but like those
Right.
are like the
and good singers, but
Yeah.
just with Glenn Hughes was
Yeah,
in
Glenn
it for a
Hughes,
minute. Ray Gillen.
Yeah.
And I'm leaving out.
No, Ray, not Ray. Ray
Ian,
was
Ian
Ray-
Ian Gillan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
from
because
Deep
Ray
No,
was
Ian-
Badlands.
Yeah, he did. He was in Sabbath for a minute too.
What, the guy from Badlands?
Yeah.
Oh,
before
yeah, that's right.
Badlands. Yeah. Yeah. I like the Ian Gillan record with them, Born Again. That was a good record.
Okay.
But
Zero the Hero.
yeah, there's some
That's a
killer
good
shit.
song.
Trash. That song
Trash,
rips,
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
But wow, we're
But
going
no-
all.
but no
we're
power-
going
no
all
power
over
ballads.
the place.
Yeah.
No power ballads.
No power ballads by
But
Sabbath. I
what-
don't think.
No.
do you agree with his definition of a power ballad?
100%.
Yeah. So that's kind of because I was like trying to think. I was thinking of like the replacements.
If
like,
it stays soft the whole time,
yeah,
not soft, but chill, mellow, whatever,
Yeah.
and doesn't have that dynamic part, maybe in the
Then
chorus or
it's
the
just a ballad.
outro, it's
Right.
just a ballad. If it's got that harder edge that pops up, not
Yeah.
like hard like Slayer or some shit, but a change in the tone, like you said, distortion or whatever.
you have a ballad and then you add the power.
Little balls in there.
But what about image though? Like if you have long hair and you do just an acoustic song like "To Be With You" or "More Than Words,"
No,
it's not a power ballad
I don't think
because
so.
it makes most of the lists you
Really?
see out there. It's
More
lumped
Than
in with the
Words
genre.
is not a power ballad to me. That's just
I
a
mean,
ballad.
maybe it gets a little dynamic,
I'd
but
say
not so much.
You want to subcategorize it as a hair ballad, right?
Maybe Wholehearted.
They had
before
one
that.
short hair guy, right? Extreme. Just the drummer.
No, the bass player. Oh yeah, it was the drummer.
The drummer had the short
Yeah,
hair.
yeah, because he was when they did Bands Reunited on VH1, they tried to reunite them.
I
Remember that
always
show?
paid attention to that shit. like the
Oh,
haircuts.
yeah.
I'm still to the point where like if a metal band comes out and like they all like at least one guy's got to have fucking long hair.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm like looking at you sideways.
Skeptical.
Like, I don't know about this.
Yeah, I don't know about these guys.
I don't feel comfortable with this.
Like like that sheriff cover.
That guy didn't belong.
Yeah, it was like
didn't.
two guys there that looked.
But you were about to talk before I cut you off. Bands Reunited. That was a fantastic.
That was a
show.
fun show.
Did they get the whole band Extreme together?
No,
Not
Nuno wasn't having it.
Nuno wasn't having it.
No. He was playing with probably Perry Farrell at the time, right? Or he does like session. He plays with like Rihanna and all that kind of shit, right? Like,
Yeah, he was getting real money.
yeah.
But he did.
Red
he did,
Beach too.
They did play Red Beach from Winger.
Yeah, they both play with like Pink, Rihanna. They go on those
Session
tours
work,
and
yeah.
just kill it, you know,
Yeah.
and then just come off and do whatever the fuck they feel like it. I
Yeah,
think
that's
Extreme actually got together again.
They did,
Yeah.
and they played the Paramount.
Did they?
A couple of years ago, I was going to go. I heard they were very good. You know, I just I could sit
Say
through
no
it.
more.
I could sit through a set. I mean, maybe I never want to hear Kid Ego, but you know, like
Yeah, they had they got real goofy and shit. But I mean, as a guitar, Nino Betancourt is an
player,
absolute beast.
Yeah.
I think he got on my radar from the Bill and Ted solo. Wasn't that him on that Bill and Ted solo
maybe.
for the song "Play with Me"?
Oh,
That's
wow.
a great song.
Yeah, that
Play With Me is
solo lick
amazing.
was always on the Bill and Ted commercial. It breaks down into this like insane solo that's just mental, and that's what got Nuno on my radar.
Well, they had Guitar World, the magazine, transcribed "Flight of the Wounded Bumblebee" from Porno Graffiti 2, and I've tried to like learn that. I'm like, I don't know why I wanted to learn that, but it was just so stupid.
It's
If we're gonna
ridiculous.
stay on Extreme for one
Sure.
one more second,
Go for it, man.
one of the coolest things I've ever seen from them, obviously More Than Words. Everyone loves that, wholehearted.
Great song, More Than Words. Really great lyrics.
But if you ever seen the full set, which is like about 20 minutes of their opening for the concert for Freddie Mercury in '92 at Wembley, they do a Queen medley to warm up the crowd for what's about to happen the rest of the day. It's amazing. It's just amazing. If you're a Queen fan, even better. But just the playing, the way they transition.
Oh, they all had chops.
Oh,
they were
all
and
very
Sharon
good.
could
Great
sing,
players,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? No question.
Yeah.
But-
So if anyone's looking for 19 minutes to spare, just check out Queen on YouTube. Extreme's Queen medley at the '92
I'm on
concert for Freddie.
Nice.
Didn't think we were going to cover Extreme this much, but here we
Yeah.
are.
Oh, since we're not doing, since More
covering
Than
everything.
More Than Words isn't making it as the ballad, then we
The
Yeah.
pop culture bomb just went off in here. Like, boom.
I'm glad I came.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's start off with top 5 power ballads. I have 87. Lang, you have 89. So let's start with our guest today, Joe.
1990.
Yeah. So 1990. Give me your number 5. We'll go around the. Give us the first one.
Oh, so we're like 5.
We're gonna go 5.
like
5,
a backwards
5.
countdown. Like number 1 being the be all end all.
Yeah, but you get 5, then he'll get 5. I get
see.
5.
Okay.
Don't bust that nut yet.
Edge.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. Winger, Miles Away.
That was 1990.
It was 1990. All my selections are verified by Wikipedia
Yeah.
for release
I'm
date.
always nervous when I do this because we did like a movie one year, and
Yeah.
Sam's like, that didn't come out that. I had them all wrong.
Yeah.
Like, oh, God.
If you think you might be like off by a year or whatever, you just let me know because I
right.
did all this research.
Gotcha.
Miles
fact
Away.
checker.
That's a good one.
That's on the first
That's second
record?
one.
Second
Second.
record.
Yeah. I liked it because they referenced this 80s soft rock song called Just When I Needed You Most. I don't know if you know this one.
Wow.
It's from a obscure movie called Private Lessons, which is
wow.
like kind of an R-rated like porno.
Yeah.
In
I
the age
remember
of
that
Fast
movie.
Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah.
Private Lessons was. I remember seeing it in the theater because
It's like an older lady with,
yes,
right? Like
yes.
a tutor or something.
Howard Hessman was in it from WKRP.
Yo, nice.
Nice. Head of the class.
And Police Academy too.
Yes. But on the soundtrack, I bought the cassette because I liked the song Just When I Needed You Most by Randy Van Warmer. So, when I heard
I didn't think we were going to cover Randy Van Warmer in
Yeah.
this episode yet. Here we are.
Well, I knew it was going to be in the winger section of the program, but the chorus is like Just When I Needed You Most, you're
Yeah.
miles away. It's got a little keyboard in it, pretty good guitar solo and those power chords. And I liked Winger. I thought they were pretty cool.
That was a good record. Easy Come, Easy Go was on there.
Yeah.
Can't Get Enough was fun.
I never heard the second record, but I did fuck with the first one.
Did you?
Yeah.
I liked the second one more than the first.
I loved Rub Beach.
Yeah. I hated
Headed for a Heartbreak.
Yeah, that's a great song. Yeah.
I love the Beavis and Butthead thing because like
they crushed
I never really thought about it until later when they're like, yeah, their career got like kind of like beat by like Beavis and Butthead
because of Stewart.
Yeah, because they were like
they gave the biggest Herb the Winger.
Shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was over.
That's so fucked up. So
Beavis and Butthead was very important, you know, for like bands getting like
exposure,
ridicule, like a ton of them, or videos that never got play, and then Mike Judge for whatever reason decided to pull it up and have some fun with it.
Yeah,
all of a sudden careers were made. You know,
what a great format.
Or broken.
When we had on Michael Olago for If I Rule the World, and he said the same thing. Like when he signed White Zombie to Geffen, and they just couldn't break.
They blew up.
And he said one day that video made it to Beavis and Butthead, and he's like, everything changed.
They were the first reaction videos.
Yeah.
Before YouTube had it.
Which was it, More Human Than Human?
Oh, no, for that, it might have been like Black Sunshine.
It was Black Sunshine or
Thunder Kiss?
One of those.
Thunder Kiss.
Yeah. So at the end of one of our records in 2012, I would always play that Thunder Kiss 65 riff. I don't know why. Like we would just be practicing, and before, like I don't know, just out of nowhere, I'd go dun 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 dun, dun, and everyone would play along for like 2 seconds, and we would say, I don't know. It was just this thing that we kept.
Got a fun groove, that song, man.
Yeah. So at the end of that record, like if you wait till the last song and wait till the very end, you hear that riff, and then the record ends.
And shout out to Sean.
1989 for Langen. What do you have for number 5?
All right. The only thing on the power ballad criteria, they aren't all love songs.
It doesn't matter.
All right. But dynamically they follow. My number 5 is the Cult, Edie Chow Baby from
Electric.
No, Sonic Temple.
Oh, you're 89. That's right. That makes sense.
Which is a fantastic.
Electric was 87. Right?
Yeah.
Fantastic record, top to bottom. Obviously, that was a huge album for them. And,
huge.
But that ballad, there's a couple of tunes on that record that might fall in the ballad category. This is the purest that met the criteria. But just a great riff, great songwriting. Billy Duffy, you know, Ian's at the top of his game singing.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
Great record. I remember that time. That was a total MTV era right there. I mean, that record. I love Ian and Creepshow 2 and the Chief Woodenhead skit. Remember him?
Wow. Yeah.
That joke was just for us. No one else. For us. But I remember just listening to that, and it was around the time I started listening to The Doors, and I saw like that parallel. I'm like, I completely get it. Not too far, like right, like maybe 89 or 90 was The Doors documentary. No, the movie that
Val Kilmer.
Yeah, that was like 1990.
I saw the cold open from Metallica on that tour too, and they killed live. Except for they had a tough time when Ian came out with the tambourine. The Metallica audience, it didn't work.
Yeah.
Like, dude, don't put the tambourine away.
Put
it away. You got him. Just don't do that. It's not cool.
Oh boy, this is tough. So 1987. Like I said, there was no rhyme or reason for me to pick this. This was interesting because I couldn't really narrow it down. I had a few honorable mentions.
Save those for the end after we've done all of our.
Yeah. All right. So then I'll do that. So, God, I guess I'm just gonna have to.
Are you prioritizing now?
Yeah. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go number 5. In Excess, Never Tear Us Apart.
Nice.
Cover Me Bad used to cover this. Oh, we still do whenever we play. But really fun song. A sax solo, which is but it's one of those things where I thought to myself, I'm like, is this a ballad or is it a power ballad? And then that chorus into like that lead, like that's where the power really comes from. Like, cause it like really elevates there and then it drops. I think the verses are actually harder than the chorus. But that's my number 5. In Excess, Never Tear Us Apart. I think it's a song that a lot of people had sex to in '87. Just wanted to shout that out. So.
Right before the sax solo, the drummer does a nice little fill that goes, and then he brings it to a stop.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the sax solos, like,
yes,
Yeah.
and that's kind of like, ooh, like you feel that, you know,
you do,
right?
because that's usually where like a jerk off, I would jump and land on that one. So what do you got for number 4, Joe?
Okay, number 4, I'm going to go with "Kiss Forever,"
Oh wow,
co-written by Michael Bolton.
Really?
Oh, I thought it was Desmond Child.
I know Michael Bolton had co-writing credits on this one, and you know why I remember that? Because on MTV, Dial MTV, Adam Curry made it a point to say,
Wow.
because they used to videotape these things and
Yeah,
we
man.
watched them over and over,
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
remember this.
Shout out to Driving and Crying for '89.
Michael Bolton had songwriting credits. To what extent the creativity of the music-wise, I don't know how much input he had, but I think he did write the frame of the song with like Gene and Paul.
I could see that.
And
Yeah, he was definitely like a rocker. He put out some stuff. Like I remember he had Steel Bars was actually like
Yes.
a pretty good
Really
Michael
good song.
Bolton song. And my friends would. So back in the day, shout out to Bob, Brian, and Josh. They used to laugh at me because my aunt used to work like around like BMG and stuff like that. So she would bring home like Billboard magazine and like all these samplers. So the samplers back then allowed me to listen to these random songs that I normally wouldn't listen to. That was one of the songs. She would bring home like Garth Brooks, No Fences. That's when I heard like Thunder Rolls and all the,
Friends in Low Places.
yeah, shit like that, right? So like I would always bring up this one good Michael Bolton song, Steel Bars or How Could We Be Lovers If We Can't Be Friends? And my friends would be like, they would always be like, yo, tell us about the good Michael Bolton song. To this day, they laugh. But, whatever. Shout
I mean,
out.
Michael Bolton, there's no shame in my game. I got a playlist of him.
One of the strongest mullets of the 80s,
Yes,
too, for
yeah.
sure. Like, he just...
He came back in the 2010s to do like a Nissan commercial, I think.
Did he?
I remember that. And he was getting paid for it. It was
money
good for
ran-
him.
He kept that money going until 2010, so good for him.
He's doing all right.
Kiss Forever was kind of like, they had been without makeup for a little while, and they had Heaven's on Fire and Lick It Up and All
Tears
Hell's
Are
Breaking
Falling.
Loose, Tears Are Falling, good stuff. But they didn't, I guess around that time, maybe you're influenced on what's on the radio and what's around you. So that was their first real stab at like a conventional power ballad,
Right.
acoustic guitar and even the solo's acoustic on that one. It's got some good fills. You see Gene Simmons in the video kind of like smiling and being like all pally and emoting, which
Right.
you don't really see from God of
No.
Thunder that much.
No.
And Hot in the Shade is a record that we always mention because I tell him,
Makes me laugh.
all right, because
You know what it is? It's that fucking cover. It's got like
Sphinx.
the Sphinx with sunglasses on.
Yeah.
It just cracks me up.
but in '89, I don't know how old you are, but like maybe you're closer to his age or my age. I don't know. You're
they
close.
didn't have makeup on when I was coming up.
Maybe you're in the middle. I don't know.
The makeup, but the disco makeup. Like
Okay.
that's the Dynasty era.
Yeah, because I'm 42 and you're what, 46?
47.
47. Yeah, so you got me by 5.
Yeah.
You were a little cooler. Like in '89, I was like when Hide Your Heart came out, I was like,
I didn't
even
know
Joe's
that.
laughing at me. So I laughed, but that's what it was. I was 11 and that record
Yeah.
came out, and forever.
So much of it is about like what age you were when
Yeah.
certain
Exactly.
things like hit, and then I had friends of my brother or something that were like, "Oh, that band sucks now. You should have heard them
Yeah.
this." But I'm like, "No, this is my
Yeah,
shit." You know what I mean? It came out when I was coming of age.
yeah, I like that record.
I mean, Kiss had done a ballad with Beth, right?
Right? Not a power ballad.
Not a power ballad,
Right.
but they did show a soft side. But this was like completely vulnerable. Like our makeup's off, we're smiling in this video. Michael Bolton helped write it. Like and they got on. It was their last. I think it was their last top 10 song ever.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so. It went up
Wow.
there too. And what's funny about that are the lyrics, because it's so not like what they're into. They like fucking all the girls, and this song
Yes.
is basically
Just one.
telling them about like, yeah, it's just they're
Pick
narrowing.
one girl.
Yeah, the one girl. So
Yeah.
I thought that was funny even back then.
So there's my number 4.
All
Kiss
right.
Forever.
Nice.
What do you got number 4, Langan?
This is out of left field, but Metal Church.
Wow.
Anthem to the Estranged.
Whoa.
All right. It's about homeless people, not about love. But it's more the music, the guitar riff, the slow part of the song. I was trying to play that a million times over. I love the riff. Obviously comes with the heavy shit. Like I said, it's about homeless people. It's not a traditional love song in a power ballad
Real
sense.
boner killer.
It's off. I think it's their third record. I think, Blessing in Disguise, I believe. But
I'm gonna follow up.
Yeah.
To that on when I go for number 3.
Okay.
So
All right.
I've got
But
something-
yeah, no, this was a random one, and I figured it'd be like, what the fuck? But it's got the slow part of it, the acoustic part of it. It's a beautiful fucking piece right there. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Metal Church. So I got number 4, Power Ballad of 1987. I hate to be a basic bitch on this, but it's real. So Sweet Child of Mine from Appetite for Destruction.
Sure.
We've heard the song a million times, but I had to block that out. I needed to judge the songs like I heard them for the first time.
Yes. Yeah.
And Slash's solo, everything about it, the bass line. I mean, it's just about as perfect of a song as you could write. Yeah, Sweet Child of Mine.
They did all right with that.
They did.
That tune.
To this day, I can't play that intro.
And that was just a practice riff, right, for him? Wasn't he?
He's noodling around, right?
Yeah. And they were like,
They're like, what's that?
What's that, dude?
What's that, dude?
Just something I was fucking around with, man.
Hold on, let me play this D.
Or the bass line
movie
during that
version's
intro
gonna
is
be.
pretty tasty, too.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, the bass line is fucking so good.
Yeah.
Sure.
What takes you back when you listen to that song? Like what are your memories that are associated with Sweet Child of Mine?
Sweet Child of Mine. Wow. So I remember being in Catholic school in Queens, in Belrose, and I didn't really know much about music because I just didn't. I felt like all the kids in school, they would talk about Guns N' Roses. I was like, who is this? They were talking about Axl, and I needed to investigate, and Appetite was that big, and then I started we didn't have MTV at that point, so my cousins had it, so I would watch MTV there, and then I got schooled on that, and so I just remember being young and dumb and not knowing shit, but once I realized Appetite for Destruction existed, I bought that. So I remember Tone Loc, Def Leppard, and soon after it was Appetite for Destruction,
And then Hot in the Shade.
That was 2 years later.
Well, I think you could have bought cassette singles at the time because I wouldn't have wasted my money on a whole Hot in the Shade album if I just Forever,
No, but I went in, man. Rise 2, it's pretty banging, that opener. I think I could sing every chorus from that if I looked at the track listing, which is bananas.
Spotify's going to see an uptick in streams for some of these songs,
But yeah, Sweet Child of Mine brings me back to being in Catholic school and being a fucking jerk off and not knowing anything. So if that's what you want to know, you got to add me.
I think we've all been there.
So what do you have for number 3?
So I was going to meet Brian again. He had the song about the Metal Church song about homelessness.
Mm.
So one of the boxes you should check for a power ballad is it's about love most times, but it doesn't always have to be, right?
Oh, and by the way, Hot in the Shade was 1989.
Right. But Kiss released Forever in January of 1990.
That's what you're...
Take that shit.
Whoa. We'll go by single.
Because I remember the videotapes.
Why didn't I do that?
Because it enjoyed the ascension
You went
and
all
peak in the spring of 90.
Yeah. I feel like the beginning of Police Academy, when I get my hair shaved.
I'm learning a lot.
And Joe sits down, he's a little off the sides. I'm like, oh, you could do that? This guy just fucked me all up.
I even think it was the second single from
This is gonna stop, so let me do another track. So
yeah,
this is Cosmo. The Firecrackers. All right, so Joe, what do you got for number 3? 1990.
Yeah, so number 3, I'm gonna circle back to Brian's Metal Church song at number 4, which is about homelessness. So is this one. It's Poison, Something to Believe in.
Oh shit.
Is that what that song's about?
It's about...
I had no idea.
It's not about love at all. So that's what remember I had that side question to you when we were preparing for this, does a ballad mean it's about love? Because a lot of them aren't. They check all the other boxes, but
sure.
This one's about his... Bret Michaels is singing about his best friend dying.
Yeah, yep.
Vietnam vets coming back and getting disrespected. The homeless sleeping on the cold bare street, like bodies in an open grave, while the the rich are getting, drinking from a golden cup, and the poor people are eating hand to mouth. And the best lyric
He
of that
probably
to
had
me
a
is-
golden cup, though.
Yeah.
But
He probably was writing the song, sipping out of his golden cup.
plotting rock of love.
There's a lyric in there that relates to today. The older you get, the more things you realize how fucked up the world is. How people are really.
Right.
And there's the catch line is sometimes I wish to God I didn't know then the things
that
I did
know.
know now.
Yeah.
And I wish that was true.
Oh, give me something to believe in. Flesh and Blood. Flesh and Blood had some bangers, but it also had arguably
I know where you're going.
the worst song ever written that was a hit. Sometimes we talk about the worst song that was ever a hit. And Unskinny Bop is definitely like, when you think of a song that's popular, I think of, what was the one that you posted? Blink-182.
All the Small
All
Things.
the Small Things. Let's Get Rocked by Def Leppard. I'm your average, ordinary.
The video
everyday
made it
dude.
even worse.
Yeah, it totally
It's like
did.
that lawnmower man looking shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, like it was
electronic
like
bit,
the future, but like in the 90s.
You know what bothered me the most about that song is the grammatically unskinny.
Yeah,
Right there.
right there. You lost.
That bothers me.
Yeah.
Like, it's not really a word. Just like when Slayer released Repentless.
Repentless.
That's not a word either, guys.
You know how fucked up they were when they told them that? They're like, wait, what do you mean it's
It
not a
is
word?
now. It's a word
We made
now.
it so. But it's they already had a big hit, hair ballad hit with Every Rose Has
Every
Its
Rose,
Thorn,
yeah.
so they had a soft side to their like party side. But this
Right.
was, I think,
They
the
had a
first
soft
time.
side to their soft side.
Yeah, their sissy side, because they looked better than some girls did. Actually, when they all did
no.
when they were all
Not
done
gonna
up.
lie.
They fooled a lot of fellas, I think, on
Yeah.
that first
Yep.
one.
I
Looked
agree.
at the cat drag
I
in.
definitely jerked off to Ricky Rocket before I knew.
But this is the first time they sort of showed the social consciousness side of it.
Yeah.
It made you think.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's not about love or a girl or anything like that. But that's my number 3.
What I like about Bret Michaels is that he there's no shame in him trying to recreate Every Rose Has Its Thorn, because I think he's written a song that's always like, if you watch Rock of Love, like the new songs that he puts at the end of those like video like those shows is just him playing the G and the C, being like just trying to get that Every Rose money again.
I like
And
they
it just-
put that deep song on. The next song is probably about what he's going to do with Daddy's daughter or whatever. Daddy's little daughter. Like, all right, we got the social conscious part, Chum. Now we're going to go
Now
back
blow
to
me.
what butters the bread.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I loved Flesh and Blood. That was a big record for me. Ride the Wind.
Was Fallen Angel on that one?
No, that was the
That was
other
on
one.
the first
Just
one.
look
I
with
think.
Catch
Fallen
on it.
Angel is definitely my favorite Poison song.
It's one of mine too. Yeah.
You know, like there's some really good songs on there, really catchy stuff. But I think Fallen Angel is just great. You know, the girl coming off the bus, which is like the story told over and
Right,
over again.
right.
Like Welcome to the Jungle had Axel and Poison.
He was the
had-
fallen angel.
He-
He was mommy's fallen angel.
So, what do you got for 89, number 3?
My number 3 is Badlands Seasons.
Oh,
I think
that self-title's great.
that it's amazing. It's a great record. It did okay when it came out.
I think it went gold.
They made one follow-up, I believe, and then
Yep.
Ray had gotten sick. But obviously very, very Zeppelin influence, like that song Seasons especially. But
Winter's Call on that
Winter's
record
Call
is very Zeppelin.
Winter's Call is so Zeppelin and
Yeah.
stuff. But Jake's one of my favorite guitar players ever. He's my favorite Ozzy guitar player. I like him better than Randy Rhoads.
Wow.
But again, too,
It's high praise.
when Ultimate Sin came out, I was in 7th grade.
Are you
Same
saying that 'cause Randy
conversation.
can't hurt you?
What the fuck are you gonna do about it? No, but like I was in 7th grade when Ultimate Sin came out, so like we were saying about the age when certain things hit.
Yeah.
So that Ultimate Sin is my favorite Ozzy record.
I think it is too.
and
yeah.
Jake's playing on it is amazing. But anyway, so he goes off and he does his 2-record stint with Ozzy, and then he does this side project and just heavy blues influence, Zeppelin influence. His playing is amazing. Gillan, it's a great record. But
Yeah.
that song, especially Seasons, is
Sure.
beautiful.
Yeah, man. The people that know the record really love it. Man, this is hard. So my number 3 power ballad of 1987, Starship. Nothing's gonna stop us now. I mean that song.
Wow.
I love that song.
That
That
song's
song's fucking awesome.
I didn't even think of that song.
I went a little left field on you.
That's
came
from
out.
the
I
movie
like that.
Mannequin?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kim Cattrall?
Yeah, and
Mannequin or Mannequin 2?
Mannequin.
I was wrong about Young Guns. I want to make sure. There was a Mannequin 2, right?
There it was. Yeah. Shout out to Meshack Taylor. But
Later of Designing Women.
But yeah, man, that song's really good. Like you listen to it, it's one of those songs that if you haven't heard in a while, and like you go to a wedding and they play it, you're like, fuck, like this song's really good.
Yeah.
Like it's just such a catchy song.
They had a strong run, Starship. I think the first big one was We Built the City, right?
Yep.
Which got ridiculed everywhere. But I love that song.
Yeah.
But
It was a huge song.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think before this, or maybe around that album, maybe at the same, I don't know their discography that well, but
Yeah.
Sarah from Starship.
Okay.
That's like
I remember that song.
yeah. It's a lot softer. I wouldn't say it's a power ballad, but in when Starship had their heyday of, a couple of years on the radio, that's one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
Starship songs.
They had a good run. And this song, like power ballad for sure, like that chorus once it kicks in, like I feel like it's just great.
When
just
I think of that
memorable.
band, I think about I wish I could sit in on the meeting where they had the discussion about dropping the airplane, Jefferson Airplane,
Jefferson
and becoming Starship.
Yeah.
Like the creativeness behind it. I wish
Yeah.
I could hear that
And
conversation.
if you go chasing rabbits.
It's the 80s now.
Didn't
We
they go
need a
from
new-
Jefferson Airplane to Jefferson
Starship.
Yep.
And then they just
Starship.
hacked Jefferson
I
off.
want to know all the conversations that happened
Yeah. I wanna
leading up to that. And
I want to see the
creative
blackboard
decisions.
with the diagrams.
Who was for it, who was against it, why they were. That's
wanna
the
know-
kind of shit I like to
I want to
know.
know the yays and the nays
Who voted for it.
behind the scenes.
Mickey and Grace.
That's a solid choice. I love that song.
So number 2?
Yeah.
So I'm going to flip flop. These are two coin tosses. Like
Sure.
it could be interchangeable.
Me too.
But number 2 is Aerosmith, What It Takes
Okay.
So good.
from I think
From
that was Pump.
1989's Pump.
Yeah, but
Wow,
it was
so
the
you're going with
summer single.
Wow, look at you.
Yeah, summer single.
Very technical.
You know what? And I don't even have to go to Wikipedia most times because I just remember
Yeah.
that in my head that I bought that album in '89, but by the spring of '90 or summer of '90,
Because it was a third single, I
yeah.
think.
So the album, they dragged the album out, spaced
They
it
had
out.
5 singles, I think, on that.
They were
Yeah.
Love in
owning
an Elevator.
shit back then. Love in an Elevator is
Janie's
on
Gotta Go.
permanent,
Janie's.
Oh, yeah.
permanent vacation.
Yeah, that was... Angel would have...
That's '87.
I know, I'll get to it. But What It Takes might have been the third single. But, man, when we do karaoke, me and my girlfriend do that song. Because lyrically, it's great.
Oh, it's.
I think
so-
that might be a Desmond Child co-write.
could be. I know they had collaborations with a lot of writers. I
Yeah.
mean, Tyler's feeling it. His some of the howls he reaches on there. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I think when I drive home tonight, I'm gonna try and pull that off
Yeah.
for What It Takes.
I can't, like... I sing in a band, and when I think I could do that, I put it on in the car. I'm like, I can't, like... I could hit, like, half of it, but he gets
He's
up
one of
there.
a kind,
Yeah.
man. You know?
But it's a really good song. I think it has an accordion.
Yes.
It's really, I'm no joke when I tell you, when I think of oh shit, I know who your number 1 is then. I'm not even going to mention it.
Okay. Well,
Could
maybe
that
10
be a
minutes.
power ballad? I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I came with like 11, so
Ah,
to
that's
cut them down to 5, we could talk about an honorable mention.
All right, so What It Takes off of Pump.
Pump, because the like you said, the music is great. It's got not only distorted guitars, the
It's
Perry.
got 2 cars fucking on the cover.
Yeah. But it's got those heartache lyrics, like there goes my old girlfriend she's
Yeah,
with another guy.
another diamond ring, which I believe.
Yeah,
Mm.
all those late night promises.
Yeah. I guess it just don't mean a thing.
Because you think about that, not as Steven Tyler, but it's like, you've had a girl who said things to you and like whatever and then like Monday I love you, then Thursday you're like, I don't know, thanks. I guess
Right.
like they don't really mean a thing sometimes when you're young. So
Yeah,
I guess
absolutely.
it
Yeah.
takes you back to like being young and stupid
Yeah.
and careless with love, right? So if you get, and also the when you get broken up with, right? Not you breaking up with somebody. When someone dumps you, it's a different feeling,
Sure.
right? So you're the one that's got to let it go. So what's it going to take?
Yeah.
You know?
Let it go, 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 let it go. What I love, a song like that, but also when they did Ragdoll. The one thing I remember about the Ragdoll video, you know, as an impressionable kid that was probably trying to bang everything.
The guy playing the bass drum in the street.
Besides him, was when he kissed the girl at the end. So Steven Tyler's making out with this girl, and he's using a lot of tongue. And back in like 87, 88, I was like, whoa. Mm-hmm. I'm like, that's a lot of tongue.
Yeah.
And then he kept driving down the block, and every girl in every house he would wave to. And I'm thinking like, that guy's cool.
I'm going to beat my dick like Joey Kramer beat that bass drum in the middle of the street.
All right, Langan, what do you have number 2?
Skid Row, 18 in Life.
Oh, you had 89.
Yeah. I don't fuck with I Remember You that much. I know it's a big song. It fights all the criteria, but I love 18 in Life.
Yeah.
It's from the get-go. Ricky
Sebastian's
was a young
singing his
boy.
ass off in that song.
Killing it.
He's singing.
That's another song that I can't.
He's
can't
another
hit.
singer that's just is like his range is out. He was one of the best that ever.
He could tie his dick in a knot.
He had that going for him. But I mean, that album's massive. That album's
nothing
perfect, and
aside from Rattlesnake,
and it was a cool kind of the story in it. It wasn't really like the formula of the power ballad or what those quote unquote, lack of a better term, hair bands. Even though Skid Row's not really there, like they had a harder edge. But the story with the young boy that goes astray or whatever, as opposed to the normal criteria those bands sang about. It's like it was different for them, you know.
And it was definitely like that. Like you wanted to be that badass guy. For
you
sure.
wanted to be Ricky?
Kinda.
You were a little bit, right?
A little bit. Maybe not in '89. But I love when Chris from Sky Came Falling wrote on Facebook. Like I posted that video, and then maybe I posted the lyric, and he writes, "I thought it was Rick. He was a young boy." It's so stupid.
Oh, instead of Ricky?
Yeah.
It's so stupid, but it just made me laugh. And every time I hear that song, I just think, Rick, he was a...
I also, when I hear this song, I had a friend that in, probably the early 2000s, he had some trouble, went away. And
for young boys.
And his fucking girlfriend mailed him a cassette single of 18 in Life. When he was asking her to send him music, she sent a cassette single of that song, which I thought was hysterical. He thought it was hysterical too, like, you know what I mean?
So that must have been a while ago.
Was he doing Life?
She had it, like it was an old whatever, you know what I mean? But she mailed it to him. No, he wasn't going that long.
He's gone for like 20 days.
But just the joke of it, I always remember that with this song.
I remember being in county. One time I did like 30 days, and I went in, and somebody sent me cassettes, and I had a Walkman, and it wasn't 18 in Life, but I think I had Walk Among Us, I had the Beatles double album, and then I had Around the Fur. That's what I remember. Back when I guess you could walk around with a Walkman in fucking county jail. It was like a dorm. And everyone laughed because I had those cassettes. But anyway.
Yeah.
My number
18
2.
in Life.
Yeah, what's your number 2? That's good quality. Quality choice.
My number 2 and 1 are super interchangeable. I think one really fits the criteria of a power ballad, and the other one's just a really good ballad with some power to it. So I'll save the power ballad for the very end. So number 2 is U2, With or Without You. Fuck. I like as a songwriter, I love the simple structure of just that A to the E to the F to the D. It's just like like it gives you so much room to have that melody that Bono has, and then when the chorus kicks in, and it just fucking picks
crescendo,
up by the
right?
Yeah,
it just
man.
It just builds to a peak at the end, and then it just lets out that scream, you know.
Yeah,
it's perfectly
it's
written
fucking good. Definitely my favorite song off that record. That's it.
My only beef with the video, he started that trend of singers that couldn't play guitar, that wanted to have a guitar.
And put it on his back.
Eddie Vedder. Well, Eddie plays now a little bit, but I want to play too. I want an instrument.
Yeah.
But he just had it around his back.
No,
He
yeah,
kicked
Bon
it
Jovi kept that thing going too.
He could play, though.
He could play it, but
a
he
little
just
bit.
kept it back there.
But I don't think he ever took it. Did he ever put it in front of him?
Oh, you should watch the Blaze of Glory video that I posted.
No, the Bono.
Oh, Bono?
Did he ever actually put the guitar in front of him in that video?
I don't remember.
Or just sat on his back?
I think maybe he played in the video for one.
Okay.
Because there was 3 videos for one. It
Yeah.
was one was like a buffalo running,
I remember that one.
right?
Yeah.
And then there was like 2 other ones. And I think he played guitar in like one of those 3.
I digress, of course.
Yeah, for sure.
With or Without You also brings to mind this scene in Friends where Ross and Rachel have a falling out after they've already gotten together. And
My girlfriend would love this conversation.
so Ross, long story short, but everyone who's seen the episode knows this. Ross pisses Rachel off because something about her fat ankles, but she's not Julie. And Rachel takes offense, so they break up. Ross tries to get on her soft side by dedicating a song on the radio, and that song is With or Without You. So you see Ross looking out the rainy window, and the song's playing, and then you see Rachel staring out of her window, and the song is playing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know how NBC got the rights to that. I mean, you two must have got paid for that big time.
A lot.
You know,
I
to
can't-
use
they're probably
that song.
still getting paid.
Yeah, every time
No
that
doubt.
in syndication that scene plays.
When the DVDs get released, they get a piece.
Yeah.
They ain't no dummies.
I went to a friend's pop-up in the city.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, like
Central
it was
Park
just,
and all that stuff.
Yeah, so it was just kind of like just them recreating the sets. My girlfriend's a big fan, so I just went. And it was cool. It was cool even for me. Like I kind of saw the show, but not really. But it was just fun to see these sets that they just erected with like certain, like they had the couch scene with the pivot and all that stuff. Yeah. I mean, a terrible show, but other than that, I mean, like it was just fun to see, but it was just, Smelly Cat, was it?
Smelly Cat. Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a lot of guest stars though. I mean, it was like it was total '90s
There
like
was.
prime rib. With that Seinfeld, like that's like
Right.
it stands the test of time. No one's there's more people that will like it than I'm sure
So
it's got its haters.
It was
and stuff.
Friends. What was on at 8:30? Because I feel like Cheers might have been, or Seinfeld.
Well, for a while there was a show called Union Square.
Oh, wow.
But I don't think that got I think Carolina in the City was also on the Thursday
Yes,
night.
I think that was 9:30.
Yeah, Seinfeld.
Carolina in the City. Wow. Yeah.
Wow, this show is
Leah
every
Thompson, right?
reference. We got everything in here.
By the way, speaking of Leah Thompson, my daughter went down the rabbit hole with Back to the Future trilogy this weekend. So I'm side watching all the Back to the Futures. I'm like, Leah Thompson, pretty cute.
Yeah.
She's really pretty.
Yeah. Shout out to Doubleback for being a good song. ZZ Top.
From Back to the Future 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a good one.
So we're at the number one now?
Well, you had another. Didn't you have 2 songs you were flipping back and forth for?
No,
Or-
but I'm saying.
Oh, that's your number
yeah,
one.
Yeah,
I
that's my
got
number
you.
one.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
so
you're
we're at the
number
number one spot
you,
for me.
yes.
Number one for 1990.
1990. It's Damn Yankees, High Enough.
Is that what you thought it was going to be, Sam?
No, I was thinking because 1990, maybe it was 89, Heart of the Matter.
Don
That's
Henley.
kinda-
Oh, you love that song.
But
That's
that-
like your favorite song, like ever, right?
Well, it's up there with his number 2, so it was just like certain songs that have like lyrical power. But I guess Heart of the Matter is kind of like more of a ballad. Doesn't really have that much power.
No power chords.
Yeah.
But that's a crusher.
That's a
we
crusher.
talked about that.
Yeah, that's that. What It Takes, and what else from But Seriously? But Seriously, Phil Collins was like 89, 90. Something
Do you
happened
remember?
but Something Happened on the Way to Heaven. That was another
Or I
one.
Wish It Would Rain. Right.
Another
I
Day in
love that
Paradise,
song.
which was about homeless
Almost
people.
Yes.
another one.
Yeah, as long as-
Yeah.
As long as we're talking about bums here.
Yeah, yeah. For our bum demo, we got you.
We got everything covered.
I
The
number
damn
one was-
Yankees, yeah.
So yeah, it's a supergroup, right? Ted
Sure.
Nugent, Jack Blades from Night Ranger,
Yep.
Tommy Shaw, and I think the drummer
Dean-
went on to
And
be
the other guy.
Yeah, he went on to be.
right?
I don't
Wasn't
remember. the
Who's
other guy.
Castronova was a drummer?
I
He went to
think it
be
was.
a player in other bands after this.
Yeah.
But I think this was his first band, Damn Yankees.
Okay.
It's not about. It's kind of about love, but it's like I think he's trying to like get with the girl, or they just had a fight and they're trying to like work it out. But just the harmonies in that song, Nugent's got that
they're
solo.
very good together.
Yeah, and so it's like I think it went. I remember this because I posted it recently. It peaked at like number 5 on the Hot 100 back in the age of power ballads were commercially successful.
Sure.
For sure.
So
That was a good era.
That's a big one, yeah.
And that was like when that scene was fading out, but I remember Damn Yankees putting that out because Coming of Age might have been the first single.
Yes,
but then High Enough, like I remember like Ted Nugent like doing the solo with the shootout behind him, and he was wearing like a zebra skin long jacket or something.
Sure.
Or the intro where the guys, the lady asked the cop what's happening in the house back there. It's like, it's nothing but them damn Yankees.
Yeah.
If you remember. That you laugh, that makes me believe you remember that.
Totally.
You kidding me? Yeah,
I fuck with Nugent. I'll still listen to Nugent.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what his politics.
Yeah, I just never want to hear him talk. Like we were talking about Dazed and Confused when
Stranglehold, all that shit. You can't fuck with that shit.
Now.
Derek St. Holmes, like that shit. He tore it up, man.
Yeah,
he was a shredder. Great.
I mean,
and who can forget the other supergroup he was in too? Shout out to
oh
that
my
VH1.
God. Savage Animal.
Savage Animal.
You remember?
Wow, yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yo, Savage Animal.
He looked like the most annoyed with Sebastian Bach's wino fucking ways. He looked
Savage Animal.
I'm telling you.
It was just like, what the? A Damocracy, that's what it was. That's what they ended up with.
Evan Seinfeld wanted, what was it? Raw Dog backwards? Dog War? Remember that? That was his big, like, genius moment there.
Who else was in there?
Scotty Ian.
and
Jason Bonham.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh,
do another one of those shows.
What a brutal show.
I don't care who's in it.
That was just wow, what a brutal show. Yeah. But yeah, like Ted was
fun programming though.
Yeah.
That's what that
I think it was more fun for us
than
it was for them.
Oh, it's probably awful.
You know? Like I guess they all kind of had careers. So what was your number one?
This is way out of left field, but King's X Pleiades from Gretchen Goes to Nebraska.
Wow.
Not really. It's more of like a cosmic nature, spirituality kind of song than a specific love song, but beautiful. My guitar teacher put me on to King's X. They were never on my radar when he was trying to get me to listen to guitarists that could play in tune because he's sick of me playing. He's like, I want to learn that Slayer solo. And, he's like, listen to this band.
Shout out to Doug Pinnick's Long Johns.
Yeah, Doug Pinnick has an amazing voice. Like,
yeah.
I mean, what a tight band, tight three-piece.
Three-piece, yeah.
This song in particular, Gretchen Goes to Nebraska, is a perfect record, and I played the shit out of it when it came out. And this song builds to, I can't even describe how, like a beautiful climax in the middle of it that just builds and builds and builds. It's outstanding. If you haven't heard it,
I haven't. So I'm gonna have some.
So yeah, because Gretchen was the one like Black.
That was
Flag.
their second album. Out of a Silent Planet was their first. Then Gretchen came out.
Gretchen was the one with Black Flag on it.
No,
really?
No, that's
maybe it came after.
That might have been the third or fourth record.
Oh.
It had Out of My Head. That got a lot of play.
I'm thinking because I remember the name of the record.
It's a concept album, for lack of a better term, and there's some other ballads on it, Summerland and stuff. It's a beautiful record, beautifully sung, played. I can't say enough about it, and it's slept on. But Pleiades, King's X.
Cool. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, which I mean, what I do with all these episodes that have a lot of music on it, is I'm going to make a Spotify playlist with all the songs that we mentioned.
Tremendous.
To basically attach it to the episode. So instead of me just putting bits and pieces of songs in here.
Good luck.
Help yourself, a la carte, right? Like
yeah.
Good luck putting together all the bands we mentioned.
Yeah. Well, no, I have it here. So my number one, listen, Hysteria, Love Bites. I think that's a really, it's just great. Just the guitar parts.
It's Power Ballad 101.
That is.
It's Power Ballad
textbook.
101.
Yep.
Like when the two that I looked at, obviously, Guns N' Roses and Def Leppard, but it's just Sweet Child of Mine, like, whatever, like, it's cool, but Love Bites, when I think of like actual power ballad, I fucking loved it. Like when that record came out, it's just, I don't know, I fucking love it.
It was their first venture into that sort of thing, right?
And just a production, just so different. Like when you really listen to like the stuff they were doing and like the bass and like the drums and like so many of those cool guitar parts in the back and the harmonies, like I think all of them were singing on this. So Love Bites, Hysteria, my number solid. 1, 1987. It just makes perfect sense. So let's do some honorable mentions on these power ballads, because I would feel like really fucked up if I didn't tag along some of these. So what did you have?
Should I just dump them out from my honorable mentions? For 1990, Motley Crue, Without You.
Oh, wow.
From the Dr. Feelgood album. Heart, All I Want to Do Is Make Love to You.
That's,
Because it's also a crash course in storytelling, right? Because,
it is, because they even had a third verse.
And I had two Warrant ones, because Warrant had this like unicorn of like
was 90.
The first album. They at the end of 90.
Okay.
Sorry, in the beginning of 90, they released Sometimes She Cries.
Yeah.
And then their next album, Cherry Pie,
was 90.
December 90, they released I Saw Red.
Yeah.
So those were quality, like checking the box hair metal ballads.
I like off of Cherry Pie. I think Mr. Rainmaker was a good power ballad on there.
And then my last one is Slaughter. Fly to the Angels.
Wow.
Yeah, that's one of my all-time favorite songs ever. I want it played at my funeral. People have specific instructions to play that. I love that song.
Yeah, they didn't make much of a dent. Like,
didn't you play it at a funeral?
What?
I feel like, maybe you mentioned
I
it.
told this story probably when we were talking about ballads with Jeff. I think I had Fly to the Angels as my favorite of all time.
But you said that
I wanted it played at my funeral.
You got a funeral song designated?
That's the one, man. That's the one.
Yo, the funeral playlist is banging.
That song is so big. It's fantastic.
It's a really good record too. Like, there's a really that
dude belts that shit out.
Yeah. And I never knew like Mark Slaughter's like pedigree, like where he came from, and he did a lot of stuff leading up to that stuff.
Met him, solid dude.
Yeah,
nice guy.
Yeah.
Played at CPI.
You know what else he did? He wrote Eddie Trunk's intro music for his show.
Oh, for that metal show?
No, for his radio.
Oh,
his
series.
Michael Schenker wasn't available.
All right, what do you have honorable mentions? Anything?
I don't have any.
Oh, good, perfect.
I was trying to find. I was so bad. Like, you're so good with knowing when stuff comes out. I'm horrible.
Yeah,
I know I can get it in the area, but as far as a specific year, I don't have any.
Can I just throw a 89 one out there?
Please.
I think Guns N' Roses' "Patience" was 89, but even though that's just an acoustic song, but that checks the hair ballad, I guess. Right?
Yeah.
Tesla, "Love Song."
Oh yeah,
it was 89.
That's right.
Album. Yeah, that's a good album.
Wow.
In my research, I was like, I can't use that. That's 89.
Yeah. Nah, please.
Love Song for sure. Like, that would have been probably my number one if I had 89.
Not me, buddy.
I remember watching the shit out of that video on MTV, and it had a weird structure too. Like, it wasn't.
They were different.
Yeah.
When they came out.
If they looked different, they might have even been something else. Yeah.
There was a lot of great band. I mean, what was the other Coming at You Live? Was that on there?
Oh, with Signs.
Was that the opener
for Tesla?
For Tesla, Mechanical Resonance, Modern Day Cowboy.
Yeah.
That was a big one,
Modern Day
and that cover, that Little Susie.
Yep.
That cover, great.
Yeah, they for sure, and they still do it. I got a couple here. So I really wrestled with REM, The One I Love. Like, is it a power ballad? I couldn't really decipher, so I kind of
that fits. But
I left that alone. Heart Alone.
Great. That's
epic.
correct.
That was my number 6.
Epic. That might have been my number 1.
Yeah, it's fucking so good.
Are you aware of the YouTube clip that just has live performances of Van Wilson doing the Howl? In the second verse, when it goes into the chorus, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
There's somebody who clipped together like 6 minutes of her doing that performance concerts here, video. It's tremendous.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's like
for Alone.
The Blink-182 thing. Where are you? Like, somebody did that for like 6 hours.
I remember the string of videos they had then, man, with Nancy Wilson was so smoking hot with that guitar in those videos.
Yeah.
And they only shot her sister from the neck up.
Yeah. I think there's a video.
For real. There was like specific instructions.
I think for the video for I Didn't Want to Need You, it was like from her shoulders to her hair. That was it.
That's it.
Because she was pretty heavy
and
at the time.
Her sister's fucking riding a horse and shit. Like coming out of like the Carbonite with her guitar and like.
Hey, listen, it goes to show you never be in a band with someone hotter than you.
Got my attention, yeah.
So also the Smiths. Last Night I Had a Dream That Somebody Loved Me. That was kind of like a toss-up too, but I mean, it felt it. And then also the last two, there was 2 songs off the Whitney Houston record, which really could have been power balladish. Where Did Broken Hearts Go? And Didn't We Almost Have It All? I think those are 2.
Those songs are tremendous.
Tremendous, right?
Great.
There's a lot of great songs on that first Whitney record.
That's the second one.
Oh, is it?
Whitney Houston, the first one was self-titled. Then the second one, I think, was called I Want to Dance with Somebody. Or no, it was just self-titled.
Whitney's this is from Whitney.
Yeah, Whitney. I think Whitney Houston, the self-titled, was the one with all the hits, Saving All My Love for You.
Okay.
And Greatest Love of All. And then Whitney was just called Whitney, right?
Whitney, yep.
Had I Want to Dance with Somebody.
Yeah. Those first 2 records, like monsters.
Well, Where Do Broken Hearts Go, man? That's
so good.
That cold November day.
All right, so Power Ballads, man, wrapped it up. I'm sure we could have picked 100 other ones.
Oh, yeah.
So let's do the last thing we have here, which is favorite hip-hop love songs of the 90s. I figured let's just break it up into the decade. So from 1990 to 1999, songs that were released of the hip-hop genre that, tackled love in some way.
Yeah.
Okay?
Are we going to go around the table again?
Yeah, let's
5,
do
4,
that
3,
again.
2, 1?
So let's do 5 for Joe.
Okay. Number 5 is Method Man and Mary J. Blige. You're All I Need to Get By.
Yeah.
I think it's like 1995 or 6.
Right? I think mine was 94.
Mid 90s, definitely.
There's it was on Tikal, right?
It was on Tikal.
But then the remix is what broke.
Yeah.
So I don't. Yeah, it might have been.
Oh, maybe it was. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Well, there was definitely a remix because I remember buying Tikal and this.
Like, that ain't the version.
Yeah, I had to go buy the cassette single because that was the version you wanted.
Right.
Most times it was the video version that MTV was showing that you got used to.
Yeah.
And not the one that you didn't know was going to be a single when you bought it 3 months ago. So, yeah, that's my number 5.
I remember listening to that song and, at that point, I was 16, 17. And, like I said, I was probably way into girls, probably a little too much. And I was listening to Method Man and I'm thinking wow, this guy really likes this girl. He doesn't even want to do other girls. He's really lyrically, it was kind of especially coming from the braggadocio hip hop thing.
Absolutely.
It kind of hit me I'm oh, this is interesting.
It was almost like an appreciation. It's past that I want to get with you phase. Yeah. Trying to impress you. It's that's why you with me to this day, boo, no frontin'.
Yeah.
Right. Back in the day, you made a brother feel like he was something.
Yep.
You could be my sun, I could be your earth.
Yeah.
Represent the gods.
And also birth. A modern day spin on, then modern day on Marvin Gaye and Tammy,
Tammy,
who originally did,
Tammy Terrell.
So to update it into the 90s.
Very cool. Good pick. Number 5, Langan.
I got Little Kim, Crush on You.
So good.
Definitely my favorite Little Kim, and C's is on it too, right?
Yes, he is.
But great beat, fun, light,
He's on there trying to sound like Biggie,
Totally. Yeah. Totally.
I think they all were. I feel Biggie wrote.
He put.
Supposedly he wrote
on,
all those rhymes.
That's what they say. Yeah.
And it's an interesting thing. You figure if you're broke and your best friend or good friend is Biggie and he's making money off music and you're not really that good and he's let me write something for you.
I'd take it in a second.
Yeah, I guess you're just fuck it. It's I'll, as long, because they had great deliveries. Little Kim had a great delivery. Yeah. So, their actual,
and she was pioneering because no girls ever, talked that raw before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the
Got
mic.
buffoons eating my pussy while I watch cartoons.
No girls spit like her.
Yeah.
They were, girl MCs, obvely, but, not talking like that kind of dirty shit that she was. It was funny, even putting this
I don't even know if MC Light has a belly button.
Even putting this list together, too, was tough, because, when we were talking about the criteria for the power ballad, and, I'm like, God, I listen to so much goon hip-hop.
Me too, yeah.
I got to switch gears. And then I'm like, is this song about love, or is it just about, fucking...
I threw some fucking
So I got, well, you had to.
Yeah.
There's not straight, I Need Love by LL Cool J is the exception.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That to the rule of the criteria. So I basically went to my DJ days when I was DJing at 3 a.m. and I was doing the club a favor. I'm putting on some romantic ass shit. So
Slow it down.
people can either hook up or look around and be like, I'm not getting
I'm
any.
going
I'm
home.
going home.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the patrons a favor who are going to get some, and I'm going to do the club a favor of getting everyone out of here. And those are the songs I was going through. But anyway, Sam, what do you got number 5?
Both would have made my list if I didn't feel like you guys were going to mention it. So I left them both off, but those are definitely top 5. Absolutely. So, wow. All right, so my number 5, I'm gonna I have a few things here, but I guess I'll go.
We're definitely doing honorable mentions later, so don't worry. Yeah.
So let me just cross my first one out here. So this is from my favorite Wu-Tang solo album, Only Built for Cuban Links. There's a song called Ice Cream on there.
Boom.
Ooh,
Nice.
And
that's a monster.
That's a monster, man.
It's so good.
It's just
So good.
shout out to all my Butter Pecan Ricans.
Like the titty sucked ice cream.
Yeah, ice cream, exactly. So this I love you like I love my dick size. This is just fantastic crooning over a beat.
Great beat, too.
Beat's great.
Yeah.
It's definitely, classic material on this. They're just letting the girls know what they
appreciate.
Yeah, they're appreciated for sure. So
flavors.
Ice Cream. So that's my number 5. Raekwon, Ice Cream off of Only Built for Cuban Links from 1995, and definitely
Purple Tape.
Yeah, Purple Tape.
Yes, I think mine was red actually.
Really?
Yeah, I
got a
I think I
factory
still have it
defect.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Were they all purple or did
Are you
they do like?
colorblind? Because that's not.
I'll go find it. It's in my basement probably.
You might be sitting on
Yeah,
like a
collector's
some eBay.
Yeah,
like,
you might have. It's like the Billy Ripken fuckface error card.
Or the card where Michael Jordan's wearing number 12 because his jersey got stolen. You ever see that
Oh,
one?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Is it?
got
You can
the
see it on
Raekwon
Google.
red tape.
Yeah, because it's always been the purple tape.
Yeah.
So what do you got for number 4, Joe?
Number 4 is Heavy D.
Yes.
Is It Good to You?
Mm.
From
Oh.
Peaceful Journey, 1991. It was later also used in the film Juice. It was re-recorded with a girl singing the vocals. But that's a song about fucking. He's just trying to like, how would you like if I rubbed you down?
Yeah.
Made your head spin like a merry-go-round. So there, but he's smooth with it though.
You got to be smooth. If you're a fat guy like me or like him, like you got, you need to finesse that in there. You
Yeah.
can't
The
be
overweight
over.
lover.
That's
Yeah.
why Biggie. Biggie got
The
the
overweight lover
yeah.
Heavy D.
That
That's
was
right.
his thing, man.
Yeah.
He came as advertised. He was smooth. Smooth
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Had them big ass Steve Harvey kind of suits, like right, like big white. Fucking.
But the cool thing about that is, he asks, the chorus is like, "Is it good to you?" And the girl's like, "I like it." He asked it again, and then she's like, "Ooh, I like it." It's like
I love
she's
that
really
song.
getting into it.
I thought we were gonna go Now That We Found Love, which I left out. That's a good one though.
Yeah.
And also Heavy D was in that really cool Tales from the Crypt episode.
He was in that, and also that great track, "You Can't See What I Can See" with Flavor.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then that posse
You
cut
can't
he
see
did.
what I can't.
Don't Curse.
Don't Curse. That's another
with
good one.
Tip and
Yep, yep.
I don't even remember who
Tip,
else was on
Kane,
Yeah.
CL Smooth.
That was
Grand
a loaded
Poobah.
track.
Yeah.
That was a good
Yeah.
posse cut.
Yeah, man, good one. Number 4, Langan.
I got Most Def, Miss Fat Booty.
That's a good
Nice.
one. Another. I'm glad I left a lot of these off because I was hoping you guys
I
would
was
mention
part of me was making the list of what I wanted, and part of me is trying. I'm like, I
Yeah.
want to make sure this song gets mentioned because it might not.
Ass
you know
so
what I mean?
fat you can
'Cause
see
when
it
you
from
like,
the front.
that's one of my favorite lines on there. Because when you Google hip hop love songs, there's certain ones that always pop up.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
like But yeah, this album is amazing, and the song just the way he floats through telling this tale with this
Great
easy
sample.
flow. His
Yep.
flow is so easy on it. It's ridiculous, but storytelling, Slick Rick style. I'm like,
awesome.
can't say enough
Great
about
choice.
it. Miss Fat Booty.
That's it. Okay, so my number 4. So if I have 1, 2, 3. All right, so I guess out of this, I'll pick LL Cool J Doing It. Okay, just
Bone.
It's about boning, right?
yeah, it's about
Straight
boning.
time.
It was either that or Around the Way Girl, but Around the Way Girl was too nice. Doing It, man, the song still bumps. It's just like that beat and great record, man.
Oh hell yeah.
I think when I listen back to those two songs, I Need Love is whatever. I mean, it's cool and all, but it was definitely between Around the Way Girl and Doing It like when you play that shit loud.
Yeah, I played that shit at like 3:30 in the morning for years
People
after
fucking-
it came out, and it never didn't go over and didn't hit the spot then.
Nah,
Never didn't.
If you ever needed an excuse to, if you're single and at a club and now's the time to like rub up on whoever, you're going to be grinding. That's the grind song.
It's a grind song.
What do you got, Joe? Number 3.
We're doing number 3?
Yep.
I'm going to go with Fuji's Killing Me Softly.
Oh, nice.
Because, I mean, it's about like forlorn love. She doesn't really know this guy. He's singing to her from his guitar, the song, right? But she's getting all like caught up in it, Great song. It's got the Bonita Applebum lick in there. But that was a monster hit.
I mean, the score.
Oh yeah.
It's amazing when you listen back to the score. I always go to like there's some really good deep cuts on there, like Cowboys. But man, when you listen to Fuji La after not hearing it for a while, you're like, fucking Lauryn Hill smokes these guys.
The first album, though, right?
No, Fuji La.
Yeah, wasn't it?
No, that's the score.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Mona Lisa.
Yeah. Oh no, yeah, that's Nappy Head's remix.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even. Yeah, exactly. Yep. That remix didn't even. Because that record did like bomb, and then that remix came out, and then people went back, and then they did the score, and it's amazing. And then they were gone.
Yeah.
They went out on top. But the Carnival was great. Wyclef's The Carnival, and then Lauryn Hill's Miseducation.
Perfect.
And then after that, whatever. So.
That was that.
What do you have, number 3?
Deep Cut. The RZA, Kiss of the Black Widow from the Bobby Digital album. It's RZA and Old Dirty Bastard.
Oh.
It's got Portishead samples Beth Gibbons. Which Portishead song is that? Taking me over.
It's over.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's about him picking up a girl pushed up like a push-up stick. One hand by my cheek, the other hand was holding my dick.
Yep.
That blah blah blah. Then Dirty comes on with some ridiculous shit.
I love that. That's a good deep.
We
track.
love you, motherfuckers.
Yeah. And that record was not very good.
No.
But
it's one of the 2 songs that are listenable.
My Lovin' Is Digi, is that the other one? Because that
NYC Everything is
But My Lovin' Is Digi off of that also sounds like Portishead.
Yeah.
And then
he was definitely feeling it when that shit came out. I waited in line at midnight release at Virgin, at the one in Union Square.
Oh yeah,
Virgin Records.
Because I went to Institute of Audio Research.
Right.
Like that's where I went to school down the block from there.
Yep.
So in between classes, like I would go. Man, remember Virgin Megastore? You could spend you could spend your day there.
Oh, for real.
Like
3 floors, right?
Yeah, it was like you just fucking spend if you had 5 hours to kill. Like they had the listening stations.
Yeah, it was great. You go over there, then you hang out in the park a little. That was a nice area.
You put on those sweaty headphones that everyone else used.
Yeah.
Back when nobody cared about germs as much.
Yeah.
Back before COVID.
Yeah.
When it was just AIDS.
I met Vanessa Carlton there in Virgin Megastore down in the base. She did an in-store.
What?
And the only song I knew was 1,000 Miles.
Making My Way. Is that?
Yeah.
That's her?
Yeah.
Because she started working with
Murder Inc.
Murder Inc. Yeah.
And she never got anywhere, I don't think.
She never did, yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Huh. Shout out to Vanessa Carlton.
Boom.
Yeah.
I didn't think we were going to get to her today, but I guess we did.
We're getting everything.
We crowbarred her in.
I'm impressed.
So 1, 2.
So number 2?
Yeah, I guess number 3. My number 3 is MF Doom, My Favorite Ladies. This is a really cool song. Do you know? Are you familiar with it?
I'm not familiar with it, but
I know Doom, but I don't know that song.
Oh man, I can't wait to add this. This is just basically him talking about all the girls in his life and how it's just good. You gotta listen to it. There's a video for it too, and it's fucking fantastic. And he's just.
I was gonna say a really good buddy of mine loves MF Doom.
Yeah, man.
So now I'm gonna be like, hey, guess what I talked about today?
Oh, this is really good. I'm a huge MF Doom fan. Huge. Did you like KMD?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's the same guy.
Right.
Okay. My Favorite Ladies, number 3. I will put that on the playlist because it's a deeper cut and the video is out there. So check that out if you haven't. So number 2 for Joe.
I had some LL Cool J also, and it wasn't Doing It, and it wasn't
Around the Way.
It was Loungin'.
Oh wow.
And remixed with Total.
Yeah.
Because it's Total love letter to this girl who's with a bad guy.
Right.
And the hook is Total sings the hook. It's who do you love? Are you sure? Because L wants the girl to get with him.
Yeah.
How you doing, Miss?
Shocker.
My name is L. I'm from Queen, right?
Licking those lips.
Yeah, that was from 1996, I believe. And there's another version where if you bought the cassette or the CD, the lounging that made it onto MTV and the radio was a remix. So, of course, you had to go buy the CD single if you wanted it to bump it in your car or something. So I hated that trick that the music industry was doing. I hated that.
Listen, that trick came back to bite them in the ass.
Exactly.
What's that? Now LL doing cameos. $20.
So, yeah, LL Loungin' remix featuring Total. That's my number 3.
Man, remember Total? So, number 2, hip-hop love song for you, Langan?
I got Busta Rhymes, Janet Jackson, What's It Gonna Be? I love the track itself, the keyboard washes on it. It's just a different kind of track, and Busta just does his thing, like spitting 100 miles a minute, but so easy and like it's laid back, but like aggressively quick, you know.
His rapping juxtaposed against the quiet storm feel of the music is like, I don't know who's ever done that before.
Yeah,
you know?
and he's got even like he brings it. He's not like all up in your face, Busta. You know that shit wouldn't work. He's got like a deeper, laid back tone a little bit, but spitting so fast. And like he's unique as hell. You know,
he's definitely like that guy who spills his son's cereal in the car. You know, it's like rah like a Dungeon Dragon. That fucking poor kid. So my number 2. Man, I guess these top 2 make sense to me. The Roots, You Got Me.
Nice.
Awesome.
This is, I don't think the Roots have ever made a bad record. No. They're phenomenal. I think Black Thought is really getting his shine now. I think since
that track that just dropped like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Black Thought versus Everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great song.
But I think him getting his shine from like Static Selecta. Mm-hmm. I think him doing Bird's Eye View, which was like my favorite verse of 2013. Him being on the Imperial, once again with Static Selecta, being my favorite verse of 2014. I think a lot of people are just... And when you go back to Pun, he was on Super Lyrical. So like he knew, like everyone knew Black Thought was a killer, and it's great to see him doing his thing. But this song in particular, great hook. Eve does the female MC verse, and Mary J. Blige, right, does the hook.
No, Erykah Badu.
Erykah Badu. Yeah. What am I saying?
It's also a great course in storytelling.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It just takes you from point A to the end of the story, and you're like one song. It's great. They
have some really cool songs like this. Proceed being Silent Treatment off of I don't remember the name of the record. It's their second record. But also Seed is another really cool storytelling one from that's Phrenology with Cody Chestnut.
Proceed is from the Do You Want More, right?
Do You Want More? Yeah. Silent Treatment off of Do You Want More. That's another one that kind of sounds like this. Really good, man. The Roots have a really deep musical palette, so I love that. So that's my number 2, which brings us to number 1.
Number 1, okay.
So Joe,
Lost Boys, Renee.
Nice. Renee,
yeah. Also, order the remix, right? I think the cassette single had the one that the radio was playing.
Yes.
So you had to spend an extra $1.50 for that one back in the day.
They played over in Center Reach, which is over there somewhere, years ago. And it was a place called Tokyo Joe's. Remember Tokyo Joe's? I
saw Corey Feldman there. For real.
Like just hanging out or bartending?
I went to see his band.
I was doing something.
The Love Movement.
Okay.
Is he the Corey that's alive or is...
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's the one with the... We were talking about his filmography. Yeah. Like from...
He was the shit for a minute.
5 years?
Yeah.
He was in Gremlins, Stand By Me, The Burbs, Friday the 13th,
Goonies.
Lost Boys, Goonies.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dream a Little Dream, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
We start.
And then from
License to Drive?
License to Drive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he had the world by the balls. And then he got taken by the balls. But so what I remember about them playing Tokyo Joe's is some of my ex-girlfriend's friends went there, and one of them had sex with one of the Lost Boys, and she was forever known as... I don't remember.
Rest in peace,
Rest in peace, man. Rest in peace. But she was always known as the Tokyo Ho. Because she works. It was just funny.
Well, Renee is another storytelling classic because you're just into it since the very beginning of the song and how's this going to turn out. But there's this one lyric that always makes me laugh. Shorty wanted to be a lawyer. So in other words, she studied law. Like, you just needed to make that rhyme. We know that, dude.
But I don't know why I didn't remember that, but that's fucking.
It's got good 90s stuff in there. There's like pager code, beeper codes, and like, rolling up and riding the train and getting hot dogs. It's a
great hook.
Yeah.
It's a great record.
Yeah.
Really good chorus. And it's like an actual chorus. It's like an actual chorus where like, it's like beyond a hook. Like it's like a regular song chorus,
Yeah. And then the hook, and then he just always repeats after, like, I reminisce about my shorty every day.
Yeah.
Like, obviously you want to, at the end of the story, she's dead, right?
Yeah.
Didn't
turn out well.
Never studied law.
Nope.
A ghetto fairy tale. That's my number one.
It.
Yeah.
Laying a number one hip hop love song of the 90s.
I'm going Woo again. Inspect the Deck, Femme Fatale from Uncontrolled Substance.
Wow.
Femme Fatale, Pussycat Growl, like Eartha Kitt. Yeah. Well, Deck is my favorite MC in the Clan. He's one of my favorite MCs ever.
Wow.
I think he's so underrated.
Underrated, yeah.
He never had that solo album that worked out, but his stuff he's doing in Czarface now is bananas. It's ridiculous. But like, look at his guest verses on, Above the Clouds, and whenever he steps in, like his verse on Cream, like forget about it.
I think I forgot who mentioned it, but they said that he seems to work better as a group.
Yeah.
He knows his role.
He knows he plays his position. But this song is just, it's a real. There's a lot of good songs on his first record, but
I think so. Yeah.
Rec Room on there.
Yep, Ninth Chamber.
There's a couple movers and shakers, but this one's just about him, seducing this girl and stuff like that, and
checking her oil.
My favorite line is she threw the pussy like Steve Young from all angles.
That's pretty good. I don't remember that one.
So clever.
It's still, it's the second I hear that song. Like
Steve
that lyric.
Young.
Yeah.
Wow. That's quarterback
90s.
for like the 49ers?
1999, yeah. He's the post-Montana quarterback.
Yeah. I remember playing, I don't know much about football except how to play Super Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah.
And I remember.
Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
It's all about Bo Jackson and Tecmo Bowl. But yeah, Inspect the Deck, Femme Fatale. Probably not a lot of people have heard it, but it's a banger.
All right, so my number one, which I can't believe you guys didn't mention, but I guess we were trying to not step on each other's toes.
That's what it was.
Tribe Called Quest, Electric Relaxation. Like in brown, yellow, Puerto
song.
Rican, and Haitian. Yeah, man, it's just
great beat.
Yeah, absolutely. Just it's probably their most famous song, I think, or like their most like commercially appeal.
Scenario is pretty good.
Scenario, but I think Scenario is more for like the hip hop heads.
Benita Applebaum.
Yeah, but I think more for like I think more for like the casual fan. I mean, like like this is like their Stairway.
Gotcha.
Well, that was from Midnight Marauders, which was like kind of the commercial peak.
Yeah.
So they were getting on MTV. They were getting on like all the radio stations.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was that. What was it? The single from like Midnight Marauders. Award Tour was the other song. Yeah. That's a good one too, though. That line is memorialized on T-shirts. I like them.
Brown, yellow,
Yeah,
Haitian.
Soft.
Rest in peace, Fife Dog.
That's right.
Siemens Furniture.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess that wraps everything up. There's only one question left to ask. Joe, for some reason, you brought up two bands that I fucking forgot. Like The Land of Time just took them from my memory. When you mentioned Alias, I automatically remembered that cover because I remember the self-titled and I remember that fucking song was everywhere.
The logo, big A.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Alias, Canadian rock and roll band who specialized in like power ballads. The lead singer, Freddie Kersey, was previously in a band called Sheriff, who their power ballad was When I'm With You. So I guess the question for you guys, and I don't even know how I'm going to answer it right this minute, is which is the better power ballad of the two? Alias, More Than Words Can Say, or Sheriff, When I'm With You?
Yeah.
Both went top 3 on the Billboard 100.
Sam had to play.
I had to play them for him because he was.
I recognized the Alias cover from working in Record World.
Yeah.
In Square Circle, I remember putting it on the shelf, and but those were the first times I think I heard those songs.
I didn't remember Sheriff by name, but when I heard the song, I'm like, oh, I know this fucking song.
Yeah.
So because to you can't really decide which one you like the most.
I pick Sheriff.
So for me, yeah, like I More Than Words Could Say, really cool, and they're almost like the same song, to be honest with you.
That's why I can't pick. It's tough.
But I go Sheriff because there's a lot more woes, and I'm a sucker for being a Misfits fan. I'm a big sucker. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's why we went.
Is high.
Yeah, not woke because that's not what We're more into woes than we are. So yeah, I go Sheriff and you go Sheriff.
Agreed.
I think you just sold me on Sheriff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a better song, and the chorus just bangs.
He does a lot of babies too, right? Baby,
yeah. I mean, listen, when you
had to then.
When you
baby quota. Yeah. You had to get it in somewhere.
Your certain number of babies into Power Ballad love songs.
I'm just glad we got to that, Listen, I'm glad that
this just shows three people can sit down and hash things out and come to an agreement.
So Sheriff with the clean sweep.
I think
Sheriff clean sweep.
Yeah. I mean, we could bring it to the Facebook group and see what they say.
Let's ask Eddie Trunk.
He probably denied both of their existences, right?
Cool, Joe. Thank you for indulging us.
Thanks for trooping.
Yeah, thanks for indulging and interacting with our just ridiculous, pointless fucking.
Yeah, you're coming back because I feel like we just scratched the surface.
Oh,
we
yeah.
did. So,
thanks, Red River, for having me. And
no doubt.
Yeah, I knew once you did If I Rule the World, I was like, oh yeah, this guy's just because even George said he's like, you got to get that guy on Red River. Yeah. I'm like, I think I did.
Perfect.
So
well, thanks for having me. I appreciate the time and the shine and the minutia. It was great. I got some songs to listen to.
That's it. All these songs are going to be on a playlist. I know Outburst has like a mini documentary on YouTube, right?
Yes.
So it's like a 3-part.
Blackout Records YouTube channel. There's all 3 parts of Miles to Go 30 years later.
It was well done.
That's it.
Yeah.
Super celebrity in the house.
Shout out to Darren Nanos for directing it.
Oh, Darren.
Another Long Island guy.
That's right. Darren did the light tower thing.
Yes, with
Chris.
With Chris, yeah.
My other fellow Filipino. You know what I also noticed before we run out of time? Two of my favorite guitar players, Filipinos. Joey Santiago from the Pixies and Kirk Hammett.
Oh, nice. Oh, Kirk Hammett's one of you guys?
Fun fact.
Oh, yeah. Those are like my two. For sure.
So you like when I was doing the Kirk Hammett solos on my piano for one?
We're out. Bye.
Peace.
Later.